What's going on? It is Monday, March 15th, 2021. Threw me off for a second because I expected to hear Rumpus's voice, but I must have turned it off. So that's no good. We got to take care of that real quick. Come on, play. Oh, hold on.
The Earth is very flat.
There we go. Now it's complete. How's everybody doing out there tonight? My name is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. And everything's going pretty good here. Let's see who's in chat. We've got Bill G with a big thumbs up. Thanks, Bill. Page 42, Ian Adams, YouTube, Natural Law Abider, Carlos 888, Dan Morris. Hey, Dan. Ellie B, Anthony Burrows, and Bill G was first tonight, or the person before second, as he said. Congratulations to Bill G. Okay, how was your weekend, guys? Mine was pretty good. Had that debate with, if you could really even call it a debate for most intents and purposes, with Fight the Flat Earth on Saturday. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight. And I've been doing some research on perspective and some different things. Somebody, a viewer, I'm guessing, I didn't recognize the name, sent me some information related to a couple of the topics that came up in the debate. So we might talk about some of that stuff and go over what I was sent. And let's see what else is going on. We got a bunch of people in Discord already, so we'll get to them. I have a Streamlabs link. If anybody wants to donate to the show, you can use the Streamlabs link and cut Google out of the middle, and that'll be pinned to the top of the show for the duration. Any support's appreciated. If you want to join the show, you can come in Discord and come in the show channel, say hello. Just sit in there and listen, or play with the baller trolls who are in there 24/7. Ask around. They're a lot of fun. So come on in. The link is in the show description for each show. If you have trouble finding it, just hit me up in here and I'll send it to you through the comments if I happen to see it, which most of the time I think I do. Probably not. I don't know what I don't see, right? Anyway. So let's go to Discord and say hello to everybody and get things going. What's up, guys?
What up?
Nothing much, man. How's it going, Jeremy?
Eating some beef and broccoli, chilling.
Beef and broccoli, huh? That's pretty good. We got some Velveeta in there, or you got some other cheese?
No, Chinese food.
Oh, Chinese food. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Jeez.
Getting my crypto on, you know what's up.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know all about that. Oh, you guys got to stop coming up with new coins. Every day I got to run out and see what the new coin is.
2 more today.
Oh, jeez.
We got 2 more today.
I don't know if I can keep up. We got Allie B. What's up, Allie?
How you doing, Brandon? All good.
Good, man.
Good. Yeah, how are you getting on with your Bitcoin?
I'm not too bad. You know, I'm holding my own right now. I kind of missed. I had the wrong coins during that big peak when all the altcoins went up. So I didn't make as much as I could have. But seems like when I buy, it stops going up. When I sell, it goes up. I swear to God. I've got like whatever the opposite of the Midas touch is.
You need to start watching the charts and learn your Bollinger Bands and all that.
I guess so. Yeah, do my own analysis. That's a thing. Yeah, I wish I was more interested in it because I'd spend more time learning all that shit and stuff. I just want to make money, so I don't really spend all that time. I should.
Well, that's the way you do it, or you get lucky with the altcoins. I think they're all dumping at the moment anyway. I think they're going back. They're going back down again.
You think so?
I think, but. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking at a few of them now, like that Cardano and all that. They got pumped. They went up. My mate bought a load of this. It was tea fuel, and it started off at 3 cents, and it just shot up to, I think, 70 cents or something like that. It was crazy. Just within the last couple of weeks,
Damn.
It started going back down again.
Yeah, you got to know when to sell too, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. But he got caught, actually. I think he's still holding it. And he was saying to me the other day, I'm not sure. I think I should maybe sell it. you know. And now it dropped. I think it's dropped about 20% or something like that. It might have been more actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's all about the timing. And I have the worst timing. That's for sure.
mm.
F. Evangelist, what's up, man? Oh,
Not much, man. Just a early morning drive in the country.
good, good, good. Good weather down there?
Here I am. Probably got a lot of background noise, so I'll kind of keep quiet a fair bit.
Okay. Yeah. It's the background noise isn't too bad. It just sounds like you're far away, but yeah, drive safe.
Well, I am.
And we got Travis, his ether bandiness. What's up, Travis? The plain truth. Must be away from his mic.
He had to step away, but he asked me to say hi. So hi from Travis.
You got to do the horn honk too, Effie.
I don't know if you could hear that.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. It's not quite the same, but it was there. So yeah, good job. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. All right.
I'm not in a truck, man. So.
Yeah, true. It is quite the difference. So what's going on, guys? What's the big news over the weekend? Anything? Allie, you always got some big news. What's the big news in your part of the world?
All right. I can't even talk about it because my channel just got shut down, so it's not really safe to talk about it. But I was talking about something. I read out a newspaper report, and yeah, they sanctioned me for 2 weeks, but it's sort of hanging over my head. If I talk about it again, they're just going to fling off my channel.
Wow, what the hell, man? So is your channel available right now, or is it you got suspended?
Yeah, no, I can. Yeah, I can't. I can't do any live till June. But I've got 2 other channels anyway. It's no bother. I'm not really bothered anyway about the channel. I've had a load of channels. I've had one shut down, and I've deleted the other one. So
yeah,
but yeah, I wish I could talk about it because Denmark's going quite strange, you know. But there you go.
Well,
but,
send it to me in the chat. I want to see. I'm curious. Send me what the subject was in the chat. Let me take a look, if you would, please.
All right. It was a report by Washington Post.
Okay. Seems like that should be fair to talk about if it was in the Washington Post. I mean, it's their propaganda.
Yeah, maybe it was my commentary, but the thing was, it was actually flagged. Someone flagged that. That wasn't a bot that took up my thing at all, because it was, someone flagged it. Someone listened to it, didn't like what I was saying, kind of thing, because I was quite vociferous, shall we say.
Oh, okay.
About the subject, you know. Yeah, but I wasn't saying it, you know. I didn't like say anything that was fake, or I said it was fake, or, you know, I don't believe it, and, you know, here's a health cure or anything like that. I actually went and read the rules on the subject. So, but I think, yeah, it's quite restrictive. But you can still talk about it, but you've got to really be careful what you say.
Okay.
Actually, otherwise they'll just shut you down. But I'll find that for you, Brandon. No worries.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just curious what it is. Sean Hawkins asks, anyone here have proof of flat Earth yet? Sean, that's all we got proof of. That's the only thing we have proof of.
Yeah, attitude indicators in an aeroplane. How's that?
There we go.
And water's level. So there's my 2. That's the 2 there. Plus, with it knowing that that when they do their surveying, geodesic or whatever, they take a straight line and then they add the curve to it afterwards. They've admitted it. It's, you know, these surveyors, so it's like a moot point going on about. They keep going on about denying it when it's already been debunked. You can't measure a bendy line or that. All you can take is a measurement. Look through your theodolite, look at the staff, and take the measurement. Anything after that speculation, whether it be curve or blah blah or anything like that. So they add the curve on afterwards. So, I mean, yeah. What more? Right. Plus, I wanted to say, sorry, Brandon. It's been some great conversations the last few hangouts, actually.
Oh, thanks, man.
That was it. Yeah, I was just saying I enjoyed there was some quite good subjects. No, the last three up, well, they've all been good, but specifically the last couple have been brilliant. Actually, I've enjoyed them listening.
Good, I appreciate that. Yeah, last week was interesting.
well,
We had
Peg,
Bob
yeah.
stopping in here multiple times.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. That was quite good that a few of them came across, and it was quite good conversations actually.
Cool. Oh yeah, and
Anyway.
for Sean's fans, I put a video you can save for later, and take a look at that. That's always good for a few laughs.
Also, for Sean's fan, water vapor is gas pressure.
Yeah, water vapor, gas pressure, or gas. Water vapor is a gas.
Yes,
Yes.
gas. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if Sean will deny it still. I've got a whole big old sob story from him that I have saved somewhere, because I like to save stuff from Sean. The last time I saved stuff, I saved it for like, I don't know, 6 months or so. And then I made that video that I just put in chat. And it was, it turned out very well. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever put together. It's pretty fucking hilarious. The guy just goes around dropping comedy everywhere he goes.
Oh, you got to DM that to me.
I will. I don't think he's actually a glober. I think he's a satirist. I think he's out there, you know,
What the fuck is
he's
that?
just ahead of his time. Like he's playing a baller. You know, he's a baller Poe essentially. Right? He's just it's too advanced for us. The comedy's too advanced for most people. They don't see it, but once you see it, you understand the brilliance that is Sean Hawkins. So
No way.
yeah, you got to look through it. You got to look at it through the right filter.
God,
He can't
I am
break the fourth
unimpressed.
wall and say, I'm a Poe, I'm a satirist. He can't do that, Travis. That would break the fourth wall.
I can't believe what you're saying right now. I don't even know what to do. I feel like my whole world is coming undone. Yonkins is not a satirist. That guy can't even. Ugh,
It's blowing your mind, isn't it, man?
you're triggering me, man. Stop it. Say hi to Chrissy. Say hi to Chrissy or something.
Oh, shit. Oh, hey, Chrissy, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little muffled, but yeah, I can hear you.
Oh. No, just listening in.
All
Taking
right.
it in.
All right. All good?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Good to hear. All right, and Travis is back. You must have been back from your errand. You sounded like you were a little far away. You able to talk yet, or are you still doing stuff?
I just took a bite of my sandwich.
Okay, all right. We'll count that as the latter then. Asking Raziv says, "Oh, Brandon, that video of Sean was insanely funny. My side was hurting. I'm telling you. Save that link. Thank you very much, Asking. It makes me laugh. I watch it every once in a while. I made the video. I watched it 3 times after I made it because it was cracking me up so much.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
watch
a
it
good
right
video.
after the show. I can't wait.
I'm really pumping this
Can't
video
wait.
up. People are going to be like, what the fuck was he talking about? Watch it and building it up too much. Anyway, Dan the Waterman. Right, Sean. See? Dan, you're saying that I'm right about him being a satirist, aren't you, Dan? Exactly, man. Dan gets it. All right. We might have
Oh, Brandon, sorry, I put that in the general chat. It wasn't the Washington Post. I couldn't find that one, but that's another one there. It's in the general chat in Discord. So.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, that's bad news for several
I didn't
people.
want to put it in the chat.
I'll show the article on the screen for the audience. We're not going to spend much time talking about this, just because of the warning you gave and what happened to your channel. But
Yeah,
sounds
would
like
be-
there's some pretty
yeah.
big news there. There we go. Several
It's
European countries. Something to watch out for there. I'll put the link in the YouTube chat so you can go check that out and form your own opinion about that. But yeah, I'm sure there was plenty that you had to talk about there, Allie.
Yeah.
I really hate
There was a few
censoring myself.
tweetings.
You know, I really
There's-
hate censoring myself, but I don't want to lose the channel. This is
No, don't. Seriously, don't even, because honestly, someone will flag you. Some prick like Sean Hawkins, George, or any of these horrible people. They will flag you, guaranteed. So you're as well, because I think that's what happened to me. There was no other reason for it. They're not following me.
why?
I've got 385 or 380 something subscribers, man. It's not like I'm just, someone's pointed that out, you know what I mean? Some baller or something like that. I can guarantee it. I can near enough guarantee it.
Yeah, there's some people who
They're
take that kind of
pussified.
shit pretty seriously. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pussified.
Yeah.
I think from that article, what there'll be, Brandon, there'll be a certain group of people who feel very vindicated in the position that they've held to this point, and then there'll be another certain group of people who will just continue to think what they thought before and say nothing to see here. It's all a conspiracy theory. That's what I think will happen.
You're probably right. Until
Yeah, they'll
5 years
deny it.
from now, when it'll be common knowledge, the conspiracy theory will become fact, and then people will act like it was never a conspiracy theory. It happens over and over
Well,
again.
that's
That's
right,
what
the
happens
truth.
with the government spying on us. Remember, we were conspiracy theorists when we said, you know, they can listen to all our conversations. You know, they can record everything. And then, oh, that's conspiracy theory. The government's not doing that. And then the documents come out and goes, oh yeah, of course they are. Duh.
Of course they are, and who cares? You know, we've got nothing to hide.
Right.
Did you check out, there was a thing there, sorry guys, there was just going on about that. The FBI, I watched a thing there, there was the FBI, and that's it, it was to do with that thing in Washington, right? And what the FBI ended up doing is they were tracking phone records and all this kind of stuff, and the guy was getting asked, what was it? There was a back door or something like that. For some reason, he wouldn't admit they were actually doing it. The way that they were doing it, there was a certain way that they weren't allowed to do it. As it was a commission or something like that. I could maybe find that link as well, because that was quite interesting. That it was a good example of how these people never answer questions, right? Because he was saying, oh well, do you know, I've not got the exact details and stuff like that, but it would be a great to show people how these people avoid answering questions. And it's shady, you know, when they do that, they're hiding something kind of thing, but it was so blatantly obvious, and it was a great, you could almost teach it in a, you know, as a class for training people how to avoid answering tricky questions or whatever, like ballers do, you know, obfuscating or saying, oh, I'm not sure, or I haven't got this at hand, or stuff like that. But it was fascinating from that point of view to watch.
Some people have a real talent for double speak and all these tactics that you can use to, be, I don't know if deceptive is the right word. In some cases it is, but
well, it is.
It's amazing. I listen to them sometimes, I'm like, wow, that is some talent. They are so good at weaseling their way out of everything and playing mind games and shit.
This was just so blatantly obvious. It was like it was as if it was weird, because people think when they go in front of these commissions and all this, you're going in front of Congress, or they mad commissions that they have, right? The inquiry, the congressional inquiry, they have no power to change that. Like Elon Musk won't get charged, or these people that are coming up and getting hauled over because they've been caught doing something dodgy in government, they don't get charged or anything. And that, the bigger picture of that is to show actually that these inquiries have no power.
Oh, that is all it shows too.
Punish.
Oh, that's such a good point, Ali. That's all it shows. It gives people that little bit of hope and makes people think they're trying to do something about it. But at the end of the day, everybody knows nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, but the fact is that they guys that are standing behind there quizzing these guys, they can't arrest them. They can't make any decision that they're going to get done or fined or anything like that. It's a show for the public. It's like the, what do you call it? Is it the CD? Not the CDC, the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission. Yeah, if you go and have a look, I seen what was it? Northolt Grumman got, or McDonnell Douglas it was, got caught cooking the books and blah blah and this, and all they got was a slap in the wrists. But if you read the actual, their decision, the SEC's decision, they said, hey, yous guys are bad boys, and that was it. They actually have no power to fine these corporations. It's deep into law and stuff like that, commercial law and contracts, you see, and that kind of, that, like, people are scared of the Securities Exchange Commission, like the tax people as well. They have no power, they have no authority. It's very constrained, and big cases like that expose, actually, you know what I mean, that they have no power. It's just for people, like you said, to give people hope, to con them into thinking, oh, they're getting hauled against, oh, look at them, look, that guy's getting asked hard questions and he's lying. But people never follow up and say, right, what happened to these people? Did they get fined? Did they? And they'll find out, no, they never got fined or anything. It was just a show. It really is. That's blatantly, it's so blatantly obvious. So
They got Martha Stewart.
yeah.
Yeah, how did that all
But
go
she
down?
done-
I never really looked into that. How come she got crucified so badly?
Well, exactly.
Man, it's all drama.
Because she wasn't in the club, just like George Carlin says. It's a big club, and you guys are not in it. She wasn't part of the club,
Oh, I
and
missed
that's
that
why
guy.
she got targeted. You know what I mean?
Well, George
she
Carlin
got
was the
targeted.
best.
Yeah, Carlin.
Oh,
He was
Okay,
good. Yeah.
so Jeremy, it sounded like earlier you said to Brandon when he said satirist, you're like, what's a satirist? George Carlin.
Ahead of their time. Yeah, I didn't know what that word meant. Yeah. He was ahead of his time. He was fucking great.
yeah, him and Sean Hawkins, man, two of the greats.
Okay, listen, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You gotta stop. Just stop for at least right now. I gotta watch your video before you keep going with that.
I
I
prefer
almost
Bill
choked
Hicks.
on my candy bar. Come on.
Bill Hicks was good too.
Yeah.
There are some
Yeah,
crazy coincidences between the Bill Hicks and what's his name?
No, not Alex Jones.
So
No,
I don't think he's him,
I
but
tell
it is
ya.
really weird.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is a lot of weird
Yeah,
coincidences.
I tell ya.
Like he picked up an award for Bill Hicks on the 10th anniversary of his death, and they knew each other in high school, and it's just very strange. And Bill Hicks was working on a character like an Alex Jones like character, and actually did like some pilots on a local radio station where and then he died, and Alex Jones is like, that's his persona. I don't know, maybe it's just the way it's presented, because I've never actually researched
maybe
it.
Alex Jones adopted that, actually. Now you said, I didn't know that, but perhaps Alex Jones adopted that, because I could see them being involved in the same kind of crowd, because Alex Jones is a bit rowdy and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I couldn't watch Alex Jones. When I got woke, it was 2017. Flat Earth was my awakening, right? When I got woke, Alex Jones came across my playlist. I could not watch this guy. His voice, he just talks like this. I'm like, dude, this guy's a mirror. Who talks like that? No one talks like that. I just couldn't believe it was real. Could not believe he was real.
Oh, it still sounds like he's putting on a character when I listen to him. Totally. And
I think he's. I don't go with the conspiracy theory. He's a plant or anything like that. I don't go with that at all. I just think I do think he's playing a character, and I think he does. He's larger than life, but I don't buy into the bit. I've people say, oh look, they bought that. That company owns him, and all this kind of tenuous, connections and stuff like that. I don't really care anyway. It's like he was the one not brought me to Flat Earth, because I was into stuff before that. But he introduced a lot of stuff like all the government documents he produced. There was a few that he exaggerates and stuff like that. But the rest of them, when he said they were locking, I don't even want to talk about that, because you can't even talk about that guy either. Talk about him actually, because he's banned off of YouTube as well. So, but he talked about I used to go and look at the documents that he would present because I wouldn't believe, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And I'd go away and look at it and I'd search. I wouldn't just look at his documents that he present. I'd go and I look, and I'm telling you, like most of the stuff he talked about, it was it was true, man. It was all true. Or I could find government documents to back up exactly what he said, or people saying what he said they said. But a lot of the stuff he exaggerated, or a bit of the
Yeah.
stuff that he exaggerated. But I can't think he's a shell when I've followed up, done my research, dug deeper than what Alex Jones goes perhaps. But he started me off, so I can't really slag the guy off. He's sort of, he opened my eyes to loads of shit that's going on, dark stuff
That's
goes
true.
on. So
That's true. And some of the crazy stuff that he said, even that had backing in some kind of reality, whether his interpretation was correct or not.
yeah, that was it.
Like turning the frogs gay. There was actually something behind that. There was some chemical that was being released that was actually turning frogs into, what is it called when they have both sexes? That was essentially turning them
hermaphrodite.
Androgynous.
Yeah, one of those two. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite.
Yeah,
I think it's hermaphrodite because it was actually
yeah.
causing their sex organs to change. So they weren't turning gay. He said it in a funny way, but there was some truth behind it.
Yeah, and all the stuff that he taught, I mean, just like loads of stuff he turned me on, and that's where I got to the point as I said, I learned to, when my best example is when your Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, this is to help the old people. I just got into the habit of when they said the old people, I said, this is not going to help the old people. And I would follow up on it a month later. And, 9 times out of 10, when they say it's for the homeless or black people or Chinese people, when they say it's for them, it's not for them at all. They're going to be the ones that suffer out of it. It's dead easy and it works, when you start doing that. It's scary, actually, how, it's like, you just interpret what they said in the opposite way. Just imagine that they said it the opposite, and that will be the truth.
Do you think that Alex Jones is kind of like the Flat Earth Society, where it's like there's this thing that is actually going on, and so like to push people away from this thing that's true, they get something so ridiculous and so stupid out in front of people that it like scares them away from the true thing?
Yeah, could be. Absolutely. There's no question that they would have a plant to make something that's true seem so crazy and then give it to this guy, I don't know.
Well, the thing against him is, right, this is the one thing. If you believe that when people speak out, they get assassinated or hanged, that was one thing that always got me. But then I thought, well, maybe he's getting used as one of the useful idiots kind of thing, that maybe this is the way that, if you believe in the kind of satanic side or the kind of psychological side or the black magic side, that they've got to tell us what's going on. They just use him, and he's not got a clue what's going on.
If that was the case, though, he wouldn't have got banned off YouTube. He'd still be on YouTube right now. You know what I mean?
Well, he's still got to keep up appearances,
Yeah, but I'm saying if Alex Jones was one of those people, like Flat Earth Society type shit, he wouldn't have got banned off of YouTube. They would have kept him up there.
Not
but most people think he's a plant, though. Everybody I know thinks he's an agent.
The people,
so
who
are they thinking? What does it?
They aren't necessarily top of the food chain at YouTube. You know what I mean? So, like, the idea that he wouldn't have gotten banned, absolutely. I don't know. Like, if the people at YouTube aren't quite high enough to know exactly what's going on with Alex Jones and who he is, if he is controlled opposition, then they might have just banned him like they would any other like person that they consider to be a right-wing nut job or whatever.
Yeah, but Google's on the need to know list for these people because they got Flat Earth Society at the top of the list when you search Flat Earth on Google. I feel like YouTube would have known. Like, hey, don't ban this guy. He's with us. Whoever's in charge of banning people. Maybe not. Maybe they could have purposely banned him to give him some credibility with the truth community. Like,
That's
look,
the
I
thing,
got
though.
banned off YouTube.
Well,
That's the thing. We'll never know. But it's got to the point that what the hell's going on in this realm that we're living in? You know what I mean? We can speculate till the cows come home, kind of thing. But that's the fascinating thing about it. You know, you don't have a clue what the hell's going on.
Yeah, when you Google Alex Jones, I mean, it right away. Here's the first three stories that come up. CNN: Alex Jones allegedly threatened to throw Trump rally organizer off a stage. CNN: How the party of Lincoln became the party of Alex Jones. And Washington Post: U.S. investigating possible ties between Roger Stone, Alex Jones, and Capitol rioters. Okay, so like, it's not like Google. You can find bad stories about him just by typing his name in. So it's like he could still be serving his purpose as controlled opposition while being removed specifically from YouTube, because now they get to throw like all of the shade his way and make it look like they're getting rid of the bad guy.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You know, they could
maybe.
do so many things. If I was I always like to think, if I was setting up some kind of psychological operations like that, how would I do it? If I was going, because you want to control the opposition, I would set somebody up just like Alex Jones. You could make it a honeypot where, you know, he's into all these, what are they called? Like Waco type people, militia type people are attracted to him. I bet you he's got people that come and say crazy shit to him, like, I'm going to blow up, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's putting out this disinformation, making people who believe in conspiracy theories or go against the mainstream look crazy. So he could play so many different roles. Why not have the biggest, quote unquote, truther on your side if you're the opposition?
And another benefit is if he's got 2 or 3 million people a day who used to watch him on YouTube, and then you drive those people off YouTube onto his own platform, then you completely control what those 2 or 3 million people are being fed, that disinformation that you're talking about. Whereas on YouTube, they could then bounce around through other, you know, truther sites and things that you don't maybe want them to be watching. So you corral them all into an area where you funnel your information into their ears.
Yeah.
That's actually
plausible.
a pretty good point. Like Jeremy said about the Flat Earth Society. I mean, they got that thing front and center as soon as you go looking for flat Earth, right? That's like they just slap that bad boy up there, and they can just funnel them right into that, right? And so like it very much could be like this is a way for them to funnel them to this specific type of crazy. That way they think it's ridiculous. Whereas on YouTube, they could bounce around and see some different views and be like, oh, well, that guy is on the crazy end, but this guy here, he's got an actual real point. They don't want you to see that.
Exactly. They give you the clown, right? Put the clown in front of you. People are, you know, unhappy with the mainstream. You go looking for something else, and what's the first thing you find? The fucking clown dancing and saying all kinds of crazy shit. Entertaining as it might be, sprinkled with truth as it might be, you know, overall, you ask 9 out of 10 people who aren't in the truther movement, quote unquote, what they think about Alex Jones, and they're going to go, he's fucking crazy.
I mean, that's basically the entire premise of the late, what was it? The late night, or what is it? Whatever show with Stephen Colbert. Like that, the entire premise was he's going to act like an absolute far right lunatic, but then basically pretend that he's a normal person and everybody thinks like him because he's a real American. You know, like that's what his whole show was. The one that he had before when he came on after Jon Stewart. Like his whole show was him pretending to be a Republican, but a really crazy one.
Hey, Mark Beretta in chat said, happy 50th show. I've listened to every one. Thank you, Mark Beretta. Yep, it's a 50th show under the new title.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Oh, I thought you would have put out the begging bowl like Jose done on his channel, reminding everybody it's his birthday and stuff like that. That was weak ass, man. That was anyway, I don't want to talk about it, but that was weak ass. Do you know that there? That's embarrassing. That is fucking embarrassing, mate. That's what that is.
No, I thought about having
he's
a
lost it.
special 50th, show, and I'm like, well, what's the big deal? It's only been 2.5 months. It's 50. It is 50 shows. I didn't know if I'd have an audience
but that's good,
still.
though, Brandon.
But I mean,
Congratulations.
we're all still
Wow,
here.
50,
so
bud. Oh, that's awesome, Brandon.
yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. No, thank you guys. You guys are just as much
Well,
a
I
part of
just
it as me.
joined recently, bud.
Hey, that's cool though. No worries. But thank you, Don.
Definitely like the show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me, man. We're both from Michigan, so hey, cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. Michigan.
The Colbert Report. That's what it was called.
Oh my gosh! And I used to think that was so funny. I think it actually was funny before.
Oh yeah, he was funny sometimes, but
he was funny.
he was the clown. He was the right-wing clown, is what he was.
Yeah, but
like
then
you were saying,
he went to his late night show, and it was all like the humor was totally different, and it was all politically like in your face, just disgusting propaganda.
I mean, they all. I think that a lot of them, if not all of them, were handed down the directive of you're going to talk about Trump. This is going to be your career now. It's going to be about Trump. It's going to be negative, and you're going to make sure that this is every single night that you're on. That way, we can get him out.
Right. Yeah, all those late night shows are so lame now. I used to like to watch them when I was a teenager.
Oh, dude, when Jon Stewart was in the chair, like I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I think they both suck in their own ways. But like listening to Jon Stewart, he was actually legitimately funny. Even if I would disagree with his point, he was still funny about what he was doing. It was a comedy show on Comedy Central, if you can believe it. But that was back in the day.
Yeah, Comedy Central used to actually be funny. Remember the Chappelle Show? That was legitimately hilarious.
Wasn't Stewart a good Jewish boy who had a problem with someone of privilege or something when he complained about it?
I don't know. Is he Jewish? I'm not sure.
I think so. Jon Stewart, yeah.
I mean,
that's what I heard. Hollywood type of stuff,
Yeah, Hollywood's
Jon
just
Stewart
rotten.
was. Jon Stewart, I think, was supposed to be, Jewish or whatever.
These guys are so in bed with politicians and politics, and look at The View and other shows like that, and that Piers Morgan just resigning over, I don't know, the interview with the princess or whatever, It's ridiculous.
Oh, what a joke. What a joke. What are they setting her up for, do you think? I mean, they got to have some drama with the princess, right? I do not get into this, and I'm sure most people who listen to this, you guys included, don't. But any of this with the royal family, and of course I'm American, so it's different for us, I think.
Right.
Well, I get in a little bit of it, man, but I remember seeing the Oprah Winfrey interview. It's kind of strikingly odd. I see the race stuff going on, man. It's a mess, dude.
I wonder, was basically Trump and his family, was that basically our country's version of the royal stuff?
Who?
I don't know.
Trump
Well,
and his family, it seemed like obviously for the 4 years that he was in, they focused heavily on him and everything he did, everything his family did. It was all terrible all the time. Drama. Everything's bad. Okay. But I'm just wondering, was that basically the American version of what takes place because I don't pay attention to the royal family. I don't care about the royal family. I'm not over there. Who cares? But I'm wondering if it's a similar thing. We had Trump and his family and all that stuff, and they have the royal family. I wonder if it's just two different versions.
I don't know.
Do we have
But
any
it was weird.
Brits on the panel right now?
Brent, you didn't hear the part where
Well, I'm from Scotland.
You didn't hear the part where the couples were talking about worrying about what color the baby's gonna be?
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah,
dude, and they wouldn't explain who said it, so obviously it seems like some kind of propaganda, maybe.
Right, just a bunch
Just
of drama, and
yeah. Tell me about it.
She's saying, well, didn't she say that she wants to be in politics someday? Is she going to run for president? President Meghan Merkel? I mean,
I think she's the one that got him to leave, though. Didn't she?
I don't know, but how cringy is this country going to get? That's what I always wonder. How cringy can this shit get? Oh, shit.
Pretty cringy. It's already there, a little bit.
hopefully when we reach maximum cringe, we can have some sort of a reset of our own.
Yeah, that's when they do the reset. They're like, okay, flip the switch, let the water out. It's reached maximum cringe. We got to start this shit over again.
That's right. All right, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. Did you guys catch the debate on Saturday? My debate with Fight the Flat Earth.
Yes, I was gonna ask you about that, man. I watched it, dude, and I was like, is he reaching about that satellite getting the signal back, huh? Kind of reaching, ain't he?
Brandon, I thought you controlled the conversation really well. He was trying to put words in your mouth and you didn't fall for it. So 10 out of 10.
No, thank you.
Oh yeah, it was nice. It was real nice.
Did he ever explain to you how you can triangulate a moving object, or how they could do it 30 or 40 years ago, and how amateurs could do it?
No, he's supposed to follow up with some actual evidence. That was the conclusion to that, because he's like, well, everybody knows it. Science says so, type of thing. You can Google it. He told me you can Google it. That's my evidence.
I was
He was telling you
there's
there's a bunch.
couldn't triangulate a moving object, and I Googled it, and what I found was that in 1999, someone suggested a way to maybe triangulate a moving object. I don't know if it's ever gotten anywhere, but even if they did it like within a year of that suggestion, that's still in the 2000s, and that means they didn't have it before then.
He was saying that thousands upon thousands of amateur radio
Yeah, that's what he was saying too.
Was able to track it. So if there was thousands upon thousands, surely there's a few of them still alive. Let him do a bit of research and get some of the guys on and interview them.
Yeah.
No shit.
That's because they need
and then
millions.
demonstrate it. Show us how we do that.
There's bound to be somebody, amateur radio operator, who was able to track it and was able and can give their testimony for it. I would hold him onto that and okay, let get one. You got George Musa. Get an amateur radio with it. Followed the rocket going up.
Well, I've got some follow-up information for that. Oh, sorry, Jeremy. You go ahead.
It's because they need millions and millions of people to be in on this to make it seem insane. But realistically, there only needs to be a very small number. This shit's going to be on a need-to-know basis. So if you don't need to know, they're not going to fucking tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he kind of exaggerates a lot, too. Because he was saying there'd have to be millions and millions of people involved in the cover-up of the moon landings and NASA stuff. And I was like, millions and millions?
You've heard my argument against that, right?
What's your
really
argument against it?
It's really easy whenever they bring up that argument. All you have to do is ask them whether or not they're religious. Okay? Most of the time you'll get an answer of no, in which case you've already just won with them answering no, because they already accept that billions of people are tricked into thinking that Allah is their creator and that they can go basically do these things in the name of Allah or whatever, okay? So there's already billions of people tricked into believing this thing, and they're all, quote unquote, in on it. They already accept that that's possible, okay? If they say they are religious, you just got to ask them which religion they are. And it doesn't matter which one they pick. You just name one that isn't that one, and they already accept that that religion is there, and those people are tricked because it's not the one they are.
Well, I went with millions, trying to get him to explain how there would be millions and millions of people involved in talking about compartmentalization. And if you're going to have a psychological operation like this, why would you tell those many people? You'd still build all the stuff, build all the rockets, build all the planet. You'd only do the thing. The only people would be in on it are the people that absolutely
all the harnesses and the rigging. Try to do without your harnesses.
Oh, the harness thing?
Brandon.
Yeah, he was big on it. Oh, you can't do anything in a harness. It's makes you sick and it's too dangerous, and you can't use harnesses up there.
That would really threw me for a loop. I'm like, what the fuck? Harnesses? Did you guys catch that part? He was talking about the harnesses that they use in the studios, and his argument was they wouldn't use the harnesses on the ISS because it would cause so much physical damage to
and hurt the boys and girls.
astronauts.
Isn't he skipping over the part where you would need the harnesses in the first place because you're literally not where they say you are?
Well, I said I do think they use harnesses sometimes. I think that that's probably one of the things that they do, but it wasn't my whole argument. But I'm just thinking to myself, that's just seems like a little crazy. We ask people to do dangerous and crazy shit all the time. And I had never heard that one before. Had anybody ever heard
For
that argument
entertainment
before?
purposes only, in fact. People are asked to do crazy stuff all the time just so they can get some footage of it and stick it in a movie for 3 seconds.
Exactly. Oh, shit.
So imagine if you're getting millions of dollars a day to make people believe that space is real. Yeah, you're probably going to get some people to do some dangerous stuff, dude.
And you don't think you could get
But you're
people to wear
definitely-
harnesses for an hour or two?
Right?
It's obvious they're not picking the smartest, smartest out of the bunch because you got guys
Right.
like Don Pettit out there sounding like straight idiots. So their criteria is people that are willing to lie for money and do dangerous shit, and not the smartest people out there. It's obvious.
Yeah, sure.
How long
Well,
has the
I don't know if
circus
y'all
existed?
remember the swimming pool photo of NASA with Gus Grisham and the others who were burned to death later. You know, symbolically fire and water, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny the
Yeah.
same astronauts that were killed were, in that pool party.
Huh.
Nasty.
Mark Beretta in chat says, if he said, well, what would you expect it to look like? One more time, I'll jump out the window. Yeah, I was showing that footage from Apollo 17 lunar takeoff. It's one of my favorite pieces of footage because it is the most ridiculous thing, in my opinion, ever. And he said, well, that's exactly what I would expect it to look like.
Yeah, of course. If you're going to make it up, how else can you make it look like?
I
It's
still
stupid
don't.
arguments.
I still haven't seen any evidence that they had the ability to remotely control the panning and then tracking of that launch from some other location.
There was two things that the camera did. It first of all zoomed out when it ignited, and then it panned up. A lot of people missed that the camera
That's what I
did
just said,
two
yeah.
things. Yeah, it zoomed out and then panned up. So who was controlling that camera to be able to do that?
Who was doing that?
Yeah.
I tried to
Yeah,
sit
ground
there and click
control.
that and play that as many times while we were talking in the conversation during the debate as possible, because I think just seeing that clip alone like added 30% of my confidence that the moon landings are fake, because it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Travis, you shared a Firewall XL5 the other night. Was it any reference to the conversation that Brandon had with Craig?
I'm sorry, Mark. Say that again.
You shared one of the things that you do is show an old film and a watch party, and it was Fireball XL5 the other night.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Are you talking about the movie night that happens on my channel?
Yes, and you did
That's-
Fireball XL5.
That's Smurfer Girl. She's in charge of that. So
Right, okay. I mean, that was just as convincing as the moon landing.
yeah.
Yeah, that goofy ass Apollo, the lunar lander taking off of the surface of the moon looks fucking just silly. I'd be embarrassed. What do you mean
No.
that's what I expect it to look like? What do you expect? Where did you get your expectation from?
I
of
think
what
the descent
you would
looks more
expect it to
silly,
look like?
in my opinion.
Like,
I
seriously,
think
where
the
do you get that
descent-
from?
Imagine having to
That
own
looks-
that. Imagine having to sit there and say, yeah, oh, of course that's what it would look like. More so, science and physics tell me when I analyze it that that's what it should look like.
And the crazy thing was that little module had to catch up with the mothership that was going at 4,000 miles an hour in orbit. Can you imagine that? The mothership didn't stop to wait for it. It had to catch it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm wrong and they actually did that, I mean, how fucking lucky were they? First time, couldn't even fly this lander on Earth without it crashing and Armstrong having to bail out. Never got it fully tested. Never tested this takeoff that they did on the lunar surface. it never tested hooking up with something going 6,000 miles an hour. And they did it all the first time without a hitch. Wow.
Math, bro. Math and physics.
Wow.
Reality right there.
Hell yeah. I know statistics would tell me that statistically, they're definitely guaranteed to do it the first time with all those firsts and all. None of the engineering stuff would go wrong.
If you kind of look at it, it's kind of bobbing and weaving a little bit. It looks like it's being pulled up by a string.
Yeah, man, that shit's fake as fuck right there.
Look, watch how
Anyone
it
that
bobs
looks
and
at-
weaves.
anyone that
Look,
looks
see how
at
it
that-
bobs and weaves. Look at that right there. Look at that bob and weaving. You seen that?
Yeah.
Anyone
That
that
looks
looks
like
at
it's
that
being
lunar
pulled
lander,
up. Watch it again.
anyone that looks at that lunar lander taking off from the surface of the moon and goes, "Yeah, that looks real," you're an asshole.
Dude, that don't look right, though. Did you see
Straight
that,
up.
Brandon? Watch it. Here it comes. Look, it weaves that way to the left. Now watch. Look at that. It looks like it's kind of like bobbing and weaving a little bit.
Yeah, like it's
Before
being
it even
pulled
takes
up. Oh,
off.
there, yeah, totally looks like it's just being pulled up, like on a fishing line or something. They're just
Go
reeling
back,
it up.
Look right there. Before it even takes off, it looks like it's vibrating back and forth, like there's a heat wave
Yeah,
going
it
across the
is.
moon.
Plus, who goes to the
Really?
moon? You're on the moon on this strange planet, hundreds of thousands of miles away from Earth. No one to help, and you're jumping around on the moon like a retard. Wouldn't you be careful with every step? Hey, let's take this slow and not hop around with every step like an idiot.
Yeah, especially
Well,
since if I get one
Jeremy-
little hole in my suit, it's gonna suck my body out into the vacuum of space. My mouth's gonna boil and my eyes are gonna pop
But in
out.
the
Remember all that
meantime-
shit they told us when we were kids?
Yeah, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, they're up there hopping around like the village idiots.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here's the thing, Jeremy. Here's the thing. They don't lose their mass. They should be. I guess according to Wiki, 200 pounds would be about 33 pounds. They should have jumped at least 6 feet, 5 feet.
No, you
higher.
shouldn't be jumping, period. You're on a strange planet. No help.
No, the way
Like,
they moved. No, I'm saying the way they moved wasn't. It made no sense at all.
Exactly, but-
Jeremy, bro, they knew that it was safe. They had all of the math. They had all of the. They knew they could do it. Okay,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
dumbass Jeremy.
come on.
You don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah. Physics, dude.
They had the math stuffed in their suits, and that kept them safe. Their
The
math,
math
was with
kept
them.
them.
I wonder how they did. I mean, isn't the moon supposedly rotating 2,000 miles an hour too as well? So like, this stuff.
Yeah, but
makes
there's
no
an
sense.
atmosphere. The moon has its own. Okay, listen. Here's how it goes. The moon is in Earth's atmosphere, but the moon has its own atmosphere too.
Yeah, 1/6 of the Earth. Right.
Yeah, but it has an atmosphere though. So when you jump, you're still in, the moon's atmosphere, which is obviously moving with the surface of the moon. So
Really? Citation,
the
please.
math is all there.
Oh yeah.
It all
Can you
checks
show
out.
me how the moon's surface interacts with the atmosphere to pull it along as it rotates, Jeremy? Can you please show this to
So
me?
it's conservation momentum. Come on, guys.
Oh,
You don't understand. Gravity. Refraction.
oh, good point.
If you get back to the point where this, like the lander and that hadn't even been tested properly, imagine if I invented a craft that could go into volcanoes and be propelled around in the molten lava. And you said to me, well, it's 5,000 degrees in there. Have you tested the vehicle at 5,000 degrees? I said, well, no, not really. Maybe we've taken it down to 3,000 degrees, and it was pretty good. Haven't really tested it at 5, but the math says it should be okay. I'm looking for a crew to get in this thing and go for a swim in a volcano. How many
Sign me
volunteers
up
do you
for
reckon
that.
there'd be? Yeah,
Sign me
yeah.
up for that
100%.
one.
I like how the
Hey,
fact
now
that he
make it-
fight the flat.
make it even
I like
worse,
the fight the
okay?
flat Earth told you that they were in a crater.
I know. I'm like,
Make-
oh, for fuck's sake, come on, man.
It's even worse than you're describing, because it's not just someone coming along and saying they've designed this craft. It's your government coming along saying we did it right and it's gonna work.
No shit.
Well, you can trust the government.
Totally.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
can.
come on, it's not like
That
they'd
doesn't
ever
mean it's good
lie
for
to us.
you.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't if you care about yourself, but you can. Yeah. No, it was pretty good. It was actually not a bad conversation with him. We didn't get into the little name calling and all that shit. Somebody's in chat said that I seemed a little bit tired. I was a little bit tired that morning. I wasn't in a great mood, so I was probably a little unenergetic, but I thought it went okay.
It was way too civil, Brandon. Way too civil.
Yeah, see? I know. It wasn't a dumpster fire. I should have fucking hammed it up a little more.
I think you took the wind out of his sails. You were very calm.
I think you did it right. I
Yeah.
think you handled it right, actually, to be honest. They're thinking that we're going to be triggered and go crazy. No, you stayed focused.
Yeah, okay.
I would have been screaming at him 5 minutes into it, and it would have been a shit show. So
That's what we should get set up. Fight the Flat Earth versus Jeremy.
no, I can't handle that fucking Adderall eating motherfucker.
He won't get on Discord. I already tried it.
He doesn't eat it, Jeremy. He snorts it. Come on.
Something. He ain't doing. I felt like he was on an extra dose of it with you, though.
I'm joking. I do not think that Fight the Flat Earth smokes or ingests Adderall. That's his own business.
do.
Joking.
I do.
I
Disclaimer.
do too.
Travis does, not me. No, I was not hungover. G-Trig or J-Trig. Nope. I haven't drank in months. I think the last time I drank was when I went on that weekend bender and ended up yelling at the ballers and gems for 48 hours.
That was fucking great. That was a good weekend.
It wasn't that great come Monday, I'll tell you that.
That was a fun fucking weekend, bro. I remember that.
Won't be doing that anytime soon.
Hey, Brandon, I posted this earlier on in the general, but I'm going to post it right now. I just found this today. This is a Mirage expert in the 80s giving a lecture to the general public. You know, there's families with little children and whatnot in the audience, and he walks through everything that we've seen with Mirages. It is a fantastic presentation. I did a stream on it earlier today, and I took my stream down because I lost my shit like every minute because I was just calling out the shit that was coming out. But the content itself is just gold, and it's really interesting because the images that he puts up on his overhead are the same images that are on the Georgia State University website with their hyperphysics when they talk about mirages. So it's almost like they used him as their source. But anyway, I just posted that in the general chat for everybody. If you want to share that with the audience out on YouTube's.
Yeah. I put the link in YouTube, and I'll play this in the background. Who is this guy?
When I did some searches for names and articles, Robert Greenler is his name. I'm not sure. He was just one of the ones that I came across, and
okay.
All of their articles are only available in the periodicals. I have not been able to find a public access article yet, and so you got to buy the membership of the club, which is like $300. And then you got to pay for the periodical, which is like $35.
Oh my gosh! Don't
So
universities get it for free? Like if you go to university, you get access to all that shit.
You gotta be like a student. You got to be like a student.
What about alumni though? Does alumni get that kind of shit?
I'm not an alumnus. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, my point is that the video itself is good. I've emailed him and asked him if he has any articles that he can share with me that are public or whatever, and I'm waiting to hear back from him. But anyway,
like, why would they make you pay for this information? Isn't this supposed to be science? Wouldn't you want this out there for the whole world? No, you're gonna make me pay $30 for it and a subscription.
Dude, that's what that guy was doing. The guy who who started Reddit. He was one of the guys who started Reddit. Aaron Swartz. Oh, that's a pretty good memory there. He got caught trying to copy all of the files. Here, I'll read it from Wikipedia so I get the name right. He was arrested by MIT police on state breaking and entering charges after connecting a computer to the MIT network in an unmarked and unlocked closet and setting it to download academic journal articles systematically from JSTOR using a guest user account issued to him by MIT. what he was going to do was take all that and make it publicly available to everyone for no fee. They
That's like
tried to
the,
throw him in
that's like
jail
the-
for like his entire life or something, and he eventually
like-
committed suicide.
Wow, that's like the,
2 shots to the back of the head. Suicide.
That's like the academic Napster right there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, this guy was pretty cool.
File
Actually,
share.
there's a couple articles about, or not articles, documentaries about him that are pretty interesting. It's been a while since I watched them, but
Can you put that link in the chat?
yeah,
In the general.
pretty cool guy. One of my personal heroes based on what I know about him. But yeah, he was gonna make all that shit for free, and they came after him hard. Who knows what was he was actually downloading at MIT? You know?
All right.
Yeah, and let me see. I'll tell you exactly how much they were going to charge this guy. The federal prosecutor involved was characterized by numerous critics as an overcharging. 50 years imprisonment and $1 million in fines for trying to download some articles and upload them to the internet for free. 50 years, and they wouldn't relent.
Seems fair.
No shit, right? And now Reddit
50
has
years
turned
for
into
trying
a
to share
huge sack of shit. Just want to say that.
Yeah. It is.
Hey Brandon, you know how we were talking about a little while back on the show about things in space? Things have a straight pass unless a force act upon it, right?
Things. Say that one more time.
Yeah, they don't deviate unless a force is act upon it, right?
Well, when space time's bending, hold on. Are we in their fairy tale or what reality?
Yeah, no, because I was watching studying the ISS March 13th film, and I was studying it. It's about 10 hours, give or take. And I was watching it real hard, and I found something very strange in the background. And I shared it to you, Brandon, if you want to take a look at it. It's very weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a bubble or it's just the way the path it does a swiggly thing. It's really weird.
P-Brain's done some excellent work on the bubbles in space, how they're changing paths.
Yeah, let me bring
Yeah, see this one
they're-
this one can't be blamed off their suit, off everything else, right? Because this is further back. You know what I mean? It's so
Oh,
weird.
they can. I've brought shit like this to them, and they say, "Oh, it's the guy must have moved a little bit and made
No,
the
it's not from
particle or
him.
bubble move."
It's not from him. It's
Well,
further.
I mean,
You'll see what I mean once he plays it.
All right, you
I
should
can
see it.
watch it right now. I've already seen shit like this though. Like you got a particle and it's zigzagging, or does a little zigzag.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
weird. It's like a light. Look, shoom shoom,
Oh yeah, it does
Well,
zigzag.
they
Yeah.
got an explanation.
and it's nowhere near by the guy.
Maybe there was some solar
I mean,
wind at the time.
Yeah, solar wind. Listen, there's nothing that they can't come up with some cockamamie explanation for. So
It's a
be
paint
ready
chip.
for that.
That
It's
was
an
my
ice
that was
crystal.
my point in the debate was, you're going to be disappointed because I don't have a smoking gun I can show you, and you'll be able to come up with a plausible explanation for everything.
You should have hit them with the second law. That debunks everything they're doing up there.
Yeah, then I would have got just targeted as a fucking Huey and Nathan disciple. That shit would have
I
hit the
love
fan
that.
then.
Well, I mean, QE made up that scientific method. I wish I knew what year he did it in. They always say that's QE's method. So I'm just wondering what year QE created. I'll DM him later.
Does he still
Listen,
make any
what
money
year he
off
created
the patents and all that shit? Does he still have, did he keep the rights to the scientific method, or did he sell it? Yeah, that's a good one though, Don. That's interesting how that zigzags like that.
Isn't it? It's
Good
weird.
catch. Ooh, what am I on?
Yeah, I mean, Me and Chemo brought this to him before in Gems, and you wouldn't believe the shit they say.
Oh yeah.
Solar winds. The guy, it could have been moved from the gas ejecting off this spacecraft. You know, I heard
Yeah, but that
one
was a
guy
weird
say
path, bud. The way it
one
did
guy
that.
said quantum fluctuation. Like, yo, you wouldn't believe it, bro. I'm telling you.
Quantum
Have you
fluctuation.
heard
I'm curious.
Yeah.
dude, have you heard of
fluctuation.
dark gravity? Have you heard dark gravity yet? The claim of that now?
No. I
Yeah, I
don't
heard
think I
about
can
that.
handle dark gravity on a Monday.
Yeah.
What?
Travis, it's a mess, ain't it, dude?
It wasn't
Yeah, I
me.
mean,
was it?
I don't even know how I came across it. It was just inadvertent video that came up, and it was just like just one more step. They're just
Yeah. Fairy
they're
tales.
creating, and then I get my balls busted because I describe a natural phenomenon with another word, right?
Yeah, but your pictures are out of focus, Travis. That's the problem.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. By the way, I was not busting your balls last Friday. I want to make that very clear when I asked you about what the ether band meant. I just wanted to confirm it
I
and
didn't take
clarify.
it that way.
Okay.
I didn't take it that way at all. I want you guys to to help me refine if I need to refine. This is a great transition because I come across these idiots that seem to understand things. There's this internet troll. I don't know if you've heard about it. His name is Ruhif. I think his name's Ruhif. And so I'm sharing my screen right now. Let me know when you got it up. Okay.
Yeah, let me bring it up, and then I take it this is going to take a minute. I'm going to walk away from the computer for a second. So you're sharing. 1 second. Okay, you're all set.
All right. So this is the private chat, the DMs with his name is Ruhif. I think I said Ruhif. Sometimes I say doofus when I'm typing. I don't know. It's just like a dyslexia or something like that. I type in doofus instead of Ruhif.
No, that checks out.
Oh, okay. So I sent this person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different images and then 2 panels. Okay. So I gave this person plenty of time to look over these images. And here's our conversation. Ruhif says, I can't even do the Australian accent. I don't want Bandsaw and F Evangelist to get mad at me. And what is the point you're making with these?
Do we have an
photos?
Aussie in the house to read the part?
Right, I know, right? Here's my response. Do you see the second image in the panels? I'll mark it. See this one or the top image? See that one? I see the images. Yes. What's the point you're making? What is creating the limit to the water? All right, that's my question. Here is the picture. What is creating the limit to the water? Okay. Does anybody need help with that yet? Anybody? I'll say, does anybody not understand what I'm talking about?
You're asking them
it
what's
helped that
creating
you
the
ran
limit
your
to
mouse
how
up
far.
the water. It helped, honestly, it helped that you ran your mouse up the water when you were saying it.
Are you
Maybe
asking them what?
get that.
Are you asking what's creating the limit to how far we can see water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even see what you were doing with the mouse, and I got it. All right.
Good. Okay.
Well, you're a smart fellow, though.
Okay. So here's his question. Here's his question. By limit to the water, do you mean horizon? I say, well, technically in these photos, I'm going to go back up. Technically in these photos, this one right here, the horizon is up here where the land apparently meets the sky. That's the horizon. So if I had meant horizon, I would have said horizon. Okay? So I say again, technically these photos, the horizon is a terrestrial one. So that's why I didn't use the word. But yeah, that's what I'm asking because he's associating horizon with the limit to the water. So, blah, blah, blah,
I think you might be right.
Huh?
I think the mountains and trees and stuff are not included. They're excluded in the definition of horizon. So I think maybe those mountains in the foreground or the background there aren't actually the horizon because the water line
No.
there, the limit would be the.
So
well, look at
no,
the definition.
this is one of the This is one of the talking points that we have in this discussion. The horizon is one thing. It is the apparent meeting of the sky and the earth, whether it's terrestrial or aquatic. And in this one, the horizon is terrestrial. So at no point in any of these photos is the water the horizon. At no point. That's why I didn't use the word horizon. Okay? So, because he wanted to use the word horizon, I acquiesced. So I said, yes, what's creating the limit to the horizon? Now, here's his answer. The inferior mirage makes the horizon pretty difficult to discern. The actual horizon could be anywhere between the blue water and the fold line. Okay, so going back up to here, he says that the inferior mirage is making this line hard to discern. This is the horizon. He says then, but the actual horizon could be anywhere up here. Okay, this.
What does he mean by actual horizon?
Right, right. The actual horizon. Is the actual horizon?
Is he talking about his fairy tale globe geometric horizon? That
Listen. I'm speechless. These idiots have a I don't even know. I can't even speak. I'm done.
We broke Travis.
Anyway,
Damn it.
that stuff happens all the time. Happens all the time, especially with this guy named Howard. He's like, what do you mean?
What are you talking about?
Oh, is that Howard? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Howard.
How is everybody?
Good, Howard. Did you get your rear end all squared away or what?
Oh yeah. The boys got me fixed up, back on the road.
The boys fixed your rear end, nice.
Yeah. Can we rework that question a little bit there, Brandon? Hey, can you rework your answer a little bit there, please, Howard?
Hey, don't judge.
My mechanic fixed my truck. Yeah.
Good to hear.
The Earth is very flat.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's see. Speaking of conversation with baller trolls, I had an interesting one with Ed the other night. Maybe Ed's out there. He can come in and continue it. Did you guys follow any of that?
Oh, Ed. You know what's funny about Ed? I'll tell you what's funny about Ed. I ask him, is the water in my bathtub flat? Does it appear to be flat? He'll say, did you measure it?
I can hear him saying that. Did you measure it?
Yeah. I got it. I got a soundbite of it, actually. I want to put it in a song.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So my argument about things falling down to the earth was that that the force comes from the object. So that's how it started off with. I said, what do we need an outside force for? The force comes from the object. You guys following so far?
Oh yeah. So I can follow.
All right. So I take and here's how I prove it. I get a scale and I get an object. I zero the scale, then I set the object on the scale. I see a force. I take the object away, and then there isn't a force. Voila. Object causes force. How do you like that?
Yeah, it's the change in density.
Measure it.
It's the difference. It's the difference in density of the object and the medium creating the force. Yeah.
Well, no. The object causes the force.
Object causes strain. Strain is what is measured. Strain gauges are used to measure this force. They're universal. Strain gauges.
Okay.
They're used to measure, well, mass, weight, whatever you want to call it.
Right. So yeah, Jeremy, that was my next point. I said, so the object causes the force, a disequilibrium between the object and the medium. And we're talking about density specifically for the most part. We'll just keep this simple, leave the other factors out, right? So a disequilibrium between the object and the medium causes the object to cause the force. That's when it causes the force. So what else do I need? What else do I need to explain anything that we can observe on Earth? I want you guys to help me think through this.
The other object, I don't know. It would, I don't know. It's just like saying objects have force.
That's it. That's the answer.
Like matter does have a force, and it's the attraction to other objects.
Why do I know an attraction? I don't need an attraction. The when I'm going to get a force is
called
when the object is
strain.
in disequilibrium with the medium it's in. That's when I get the force from the object.
Well, you don't get it. The environment gets it. You don't strain or force on an object that's in front of you.
Clarify that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Well, you're saying the force is in the object due to its well being under this stress from, well, I'm not sure what, but you wind up.
It's just the answer that we give all the time. If it's not gravity, what is it? It's the object's weight itself. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
There's
Yeah,
no
it's
need to go
exerting-
anywhere else.
It's exerting a stress or a strain.
Yeah, if it's an apple, a coconut, or whatever, the reason why it fell was because the stem got too weak to maintain the weight of the fruit, and it fell. That's it.
So he really tried to attack this position because it's a really simple position, and I don't think you can really falsify it at all because it's so simple. But I'd love to hear if anybody's got any ideas. I really don't need any outside force for that, and he really tried to falsify it. First, he said, "Well, what if it isn't in a medium? If it's in a vacuum?" And then I said,
It's a medium.
I said, well, maybe a vacuum is a medium. I'm considering that a medium. That's how we're defining it. So if
It would just have a density of 0.
Right.
That's why things fall at the same speed in a vacuum. Whenever a baller asks you that, why do things fall at the same speed in a vacuum? You've taken away the medium. There's no drag anymore.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they fall at the same speed? You got rid of all the drag. That's all it is. It's not space-time bending. You got rid of any drag that could have possibly been there.
Yeah, the medium has a speed limit, essentially. Start off with the 0 when there's no medium whatsoever, and, there's no speed limit, theoretically, right? I don't know. I guess we haven't really done that experiment to know if you dropped an object from 1,000,000 miles up and it fell, would it just keep getting faster and faster and faster in a vacuum? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I think they say that you will, because there's no there wouldn't be any, what's it called, terminal velocity in a vacuum because there's no drag, right?
You stretch and your ankles hit the ground first on the new planet.
Huh?
Your ankles?
When you stretch in time and space warping and stuff.
So anyway, so the medium, it's the speed limit of the medium, essentially. That's what determines the speed that the object falls outside of the qualities of the object itself, its shape and shit. But similarly shaped
Yeah,
objects.
in a vacuum, the shape, nothing matters in a vacuum because there's no drag. So it's all going to go at the same, fall at the same rate.
Yeah.
Because there's no drag. You get rid of all the drag.
All right.
And the
Simple as
vacuums
that.
created anyway don't
don't
exist
need-
without assistance.
What, Jimbo?
The vacuum don't exist without assistance, so it's almost pointless.
Well, that's what he said. Was this is kind of the same thing? I think he said, okay, so you don't know because there's no such thing as a perfect vacuum, and you've never dropped anything in the perfect vacuum. Therefore, your theory is mute. I swear to God, I don't know. It sounded like a conversation that we'd have about something else, where I was taking the position of the baller and he was just Yeah, I know Ed he had to be trolling me, but it was pretty funny.
So he tried using an independent variable that he didn't know if it existed or not.
That's what
beforehand.
I said. So I said either something's in disequilibrium or it's in equilibrium. And he said, well, you haven't tried it in a perfect vacuum, so you don't know if there's a third state it could be in. You know, he made up this theoretical third state that the matter could be in besides equilibrium or disequilibrium, and said, until I figure that out, then, you know, my theory is no good.
Honestly, I'd like to think that I was the first flat earther that Ed graced his presence with on a stream with Smurfer Girl. I think Aaron was on it. SE might have been there as well. And we were doing a live stream and we got a call in. You know, I put the link out there, and lo and behold, we got introduced to Ed himself.
Thanks a lot, Travis.
Yeah, it sounds like you're taking credit for that, Travis. I'm very confused.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when I kicked him out, he had to go somewhere else.
said,
So
Dave,
you're welcome.
I disassociate myself. If I was there, I disassociate myself.
Shout out retracted then.
Yeah.
Speaking of shout outs, let me just shout out anybody else who's joined the panel since the start of the show. We got Astro King. What's up, Astro King? And Boofus. Hey, Boofus, you guys can say hello if you want. I'm just going to go down the list. Ebon Kim. Global Virus Foe. Hi. Hey, Ebon. Global Virus Foe. Howard spoke up earlier. Ruhif. You missed. Were your ears ringing, Ruhif?
Just in the chat, not really in the voice chat.
Okay. Sag Calculator, who I think is Grim. What's up, man?
That's Ryan. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not bad. And then we got SE Montreal. What's up, SE?
Hey, Brandon. Good. What's up, bro?
Nothing much. And the real
What's up,
Bob
Montreal?
Dole. What's up, Bob? So anyway, guys, open table. Anybody wants to talk about anything? Throw it out there. Go ahead.
I had to sort my audio out, so that's why I didn't come back to you straight away.
Oh, no problem. No problem, Astro.
Okay, just to clear something up then, if it's an open thing. My name is a reification fallacy. Okay, technically, I could have worded it differently. You can't put that many words into a name in Discord. Science doesn't do anything.
NASA found water under the moon.
Again?
Under the moon. And they used Sophia to do it.
Sophia?
The modified 747. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd they do that?
Legit.
Magic.
Very carefully.
Of course there's water under the moon. Science.
Before we move there, I wanted to say something about the title of that Insider article.
Oh, sure.
You know, they say they found evidence for a dark gravitational force that might fix Einstein's most famous theory. The thing is, a theory is either supported or not supported on its own merit. So if there's evidence outside that fixes it, quote unquote, then there's something wrong with the theory being supported.
It's not a theory. The
right.
thing that's wrong with it, the thing that's wrong with Einstein's theory is it's not a theory.
Well, even if it was a theory, that something fixes that theory by adding additional evidences for it is.
Yeah, that's also not. Yeah, that's also not how it works. You're correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. The word fix already implies that it's broken, so that's an admission right there.
Yeah. It's not a theory, just for the record.
Have you guys looked
I'd
at
have to agree
Einstein's
with you on
name?
that.
That's the baller telling you he agrees with the flat earther on this Einstein nonsense, by the way.
Oh, that's right. And I think it deserves a round of applause.
I applauded, Grim. You got one at least.
All right.
Which one of his theories are we
My wife is
applauding?
applauding.
Just
No,
for
it's
the
lack
record?
of theory.
No,
It's a lack.
the fact that it's not a theory.
Oh, yeah, that's a given. Yeah, yeah.
That we're agreeing on something that's clearly true.
Yeah.
What is this? What is an Einstein ring? or a gravitational
Oh, you don't know
lens.
about Einstein rings?
No.
Yeah, it's refraction.
Oh yeah, that's a big fucking circle of light in the sky. Proves space. I have asked for evidence of space-time bending. They have sent me that picture of an Einstein ring and said this is space-time bending. I'm not even joking.
I swear to God, they do that. I swear, and they swear
Yeah,
that's true.
Grim probably was there and saw it. They will
I
send
saw
you
it.
that picture of an Einstein ring and say that is space-time bending right there. That's a picture of space-time bending.
So you know what's nuts? You know how they tell you every time you say there's a horizon and it's that's refraction, blah blah blah. The argument. Well, I threw it right back at them. That's also refraction. The Snell's law. That's why you're seeing this Einstein ring, this blue Einstein ring, because of that.
Or
The
there's
blue
just
light
a
is more
fucking
energetic,
circle of
scatters.
lights. Or it's just a circle of lights in the sky.
Right. But I mean, even if it was just one light, right? Like which is, well, I mean, not one light, but it seems like one light because it's obviously a bunch of lights inside of it, a bunch of stars or whatever inside. But I mean, in their own theory. So even if it's just one point, though, you could still get that, that halo. All you need is gases and dust in front of it. And do you think there's any gases and dust in front of it? I'm going to say, yeah.
There's light years worth of gas.
Yeah.
In their model, there's...
They swear it's not a complete vacuum, so there's obviously going to be gas and dust. And well, it's not going to be dense enough. I'm like, well, it's going to be enough distance to be dense enough. It'll seem like it's dense enough because it'll be enough distance. Plus, there's more dense areas in between here and there all the time. They keep finding new stuff, and there's no need for dark energy anymore, dark matter. They're like clinging on to that ridiculous, money grabbing situation with all of that. So it keeps you all fanciful. Oh, it can't be simply just electrical plasma interactions. That's too simple. And there's not a bunch of money going to keep going into that. So
how did they make money from relativity?
Oh, there's all kinds of taxpayers. What do you mean from relativity?
Isn't that what you just said?
How do they not make money from relativity? But first of all, being the authority on all things physics is an important stance to have people, you know what I mean, look up to you or expectations, have, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying, if you're going to be a government or something, you also want to be, touting the top theories and the scientific edge and all of that. And if it turns around that you were wrong about something or that you were hiding something in order to achieve some sort of national security purposes or whatever, then, I mean, people will lose faith in that system, in that government. And then, you know what I mean? Start going outside
Yeah,
of it.
I would agree with you 100%. I think a lot of science is just money making. And you get paid to do an experiment which will never work. And you'll be happy for the rest of your life trying to prove something.
Right. I agree.
As long as we're talking about Einstein, I decided the other day just to go look at his name, the like the prefix ein, the suffix stein, and then like the etymology of the name Albert. This is good stuff. Okay, so the name Albert, from Old High German Adalbert, literally noble bright. Okay, bright, to shine, bright white. Okay, so that's Albert apparently. The prefix ein is generally indicating motion into something, and the suffix stein is stone/rock. So you can basically read his name as bright man, motion into rock. Smart man makes the rock move.
Ein is one. Ein, zwei, drei,
okay, is it in German? I'm just looking at the etymology of the prefix.
Okay.
And this says, and of course I'm using Wiktionary. Okay, and it says etymology 1, Middle High German, a variation of the preposition in from Old High German, and it is a prefix. The prefix ein is generally indicating motion into something.
Okay.
So like I said, you can basically read his name as bright man puts motion into the rock. Smart man makes the rock move.
Wow, that is wild.
I have another translation. If you guys want to hear it.
Yes, please.
In Swahili, it translates, man who ate mushrooms came up with crazy stuff called fabric of space-time.
I knew you were fucking around when you said Swahili.
Did you just make that up? That was so funny.
I couldn't resist, guys. I mean, come on.
Professor Phil
No,
is
I
not
just
very
looked it
happy
up,
about
yeah.
us knocking on relativity. He says we need special relativity to synchronize clocks on satellites.
Oh my god.
No, we
I bet
don't.
you do. You need relativity for your fantasy space-time space bullshit endeavors.
I have a better solution. Don't pretend that the satellites are real, and then you don't need to synchronize the clocks.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Fake satellites, Phil.
Yeah, well,
Then you don't have
Ron Hatch did augmented the satellites so that GPS would actually work, despite Einstein's theory.
Hold on, Grim.
Einstein's theory. Okay. Yeah,
Ask Phil which satellites, the ones that fell into the clouds, are those the ones we got to sync up using special relativity? My bad, Grim. I just had to get that out there.
Go ahead, Grim.
No worries. No worries. I was going to use that opportunity to take a dab, but yeah, wait. But I was just saying, Ronald Hatch. That's the guy who augmented the GPS systems so that they could get down to the centimeter because they were so far off. So Ron Hatch, the man who actually wrote the book called Escaping Einstein, is the man who the GPS. It's interesting that you'd use GPS as an example because it's such a fail. All right.
Really? So he had to make some fix. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. This guy was a for real deal dude. It looks like he was a National Advisory Board, space-based positioning, navigation, and timing. Wow, fancy stuff.
Everyone, keep in mind, Grim's a Glober.
That's true.
If
We
anyone
gotta,
in the
we
audience
gotta be
didn't know.
careful. He's doing the long con on us, trying to suck us in.
Mic check, what's going on,
No,
everyone?
I promise. That's the only thing I wanted to bring up. That's it.
What's up, Matrix?
Yeah,
All good.
Grim's frequently on our side of the argument. I don't know if anyone's heard him in Gems or not, but
oh yeah,
he's almost always on our side.
Yeah, I can vouch for Grim all the time. Not all the time, but he's mostly on our side. He's honest.
Hey, Grim, just out of curiosity, what is it that keeps you on the heliocentric model?
You know what? I just can't let it go. It's far too interesting. I'll be honest.
Is it because they have better explanations?
They got better snacks.
Not for everything, just better coffee, you know?
Yeah, they got better donuts. They got free donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, logically, though, they would have the better story because, you know, they have unlimited funds and unlimited people researching and collaborating to make this story even bigger. We are a bunch of random people on the internet, and we're all broke. You know what I'm saying? We don't have money to fund this kind of science. So we literally have to wait on people that can afford it.
I just, you know, I agree, but I can see what I'm talking about, like in my mind, like my mind will paint a picture in my imagination real clearly of the things that I'm talking about. So I just for some reason see it that way when that's happening. You know what I mean? Like
speaking of
you see it in your mind,
broke,
like you see a globe in your mind. Do you envision a ball?
Yeah, I do. Right. When I'm talking,
is it possible?
Multiple you know, bodies orbiting or moving around each other. I envision it. You know, like, blah blah blah. So you know, and it isn't really for me. It's not the reason I'm really here. What draws me to this is the injustice I'm looking at. When you guys actually have decent arguments and stuff that need to be validated or at least you know, acknowledged, and they're not being, that really pisses me off. And it, you know, same, you know, other side though, I get pissed off a lot. That's just the same thing, but you know, it's just more. It seems to be more so that I usually end up pissed at these ballers though, because you know, the way they say they know a thing is completely, not all of them, obviously. Some of them actually know what the fuck they're talking about, or at least, you know, they're more adept at whatever. But some of these guys, they're just too fucking egotistical, and I just like to smack that shit down. I don't like that bullshit.
Does seem to be a very high volume of smarminess. I don't know. Maybe that's not the right word. I'm trying to think of what the right word is in baller world. Punchable voices. I can't see their faces, so.
Yeah, paid nicer chill.
Right?
It's more of like an authority thing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's
I think the
harder to
word
kill
you're
the
looking for
myth,
is
right?
arrogance.
But regular people, you could discredit regular people. You could call them stupid, but a myth, a superpower like NASA, you know, it will be very difficult for them to call them crazy because they're already an established superpower and authority.
I get it. I feel that psychology behind that big time. But see, that's the thing about NASA, though. You know, and in my position, I don't really. I know NASA's doing multiple things. They're not, and I know being a, you know, since they're part of government, I understand governments are not really our buddies. So they do hide and keep secret a lot of different things. And, you know, what's so interesting for me is I see these two different things. I see them actually, what they hide is that it's not just that, you know, what you think they're hiding. It's that, you know, that they're not even in space, but I've seen that they're actually hiding an argument that's happening about what's really out there. If they're not out there, they are out there, but they're not out there under the same situations as we're being told they're out there in. As if you know, they might not be flying around with just rockets. It's so electrical out there. It's really easy to move things around electrically. You know, you just tune in your antenna and you end up attracting, you know, location electrically, or repelled from it and stuff. So there's probably some other kind of motive of travel.
I would imagine so, especially given all the sightings of the TR-3Bs and the black triangles and shit. That I'm pretty convinced that that's something that people are actually seeing, cloaked ships and stuff.
Right, but they might, you know, again be, you know, fixed to the, you know, electrical path of the planet, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really know all of that, but as far as them being interesting and stuff, you know, I just can't see it being flat just because of that. You know, just that doesn't seem as interesting.
I don't know,
What do you
man.
think
It's
are the
pretty interesting
implications?
when you think about, well, if it's flat, what is where the fuck are we, and what is beyond the known borders of where we're at? That's pretty fucking interesting.
That's what I was gonna ask him. I was gonna tell you. I was gonna ask you about. Have you ever thought of the implications of the flat Earth?
Of course, right? I used to think that the Earth was larger than it was, and then I started to learn more about refraction. And I hate talking about this kind of stuff when I'm trying to, you know, not be fighting the room, because it always ends up in one of those. But just for me, I'm not trying to say that you need to believe what I'm saying or whatever, but I just came to that conclusion, you know, over and over again. I kept, you know, trying to work it out and stuff. And like, I was one of the first ones that I was really trying to work out the model, and I really got, you know, dug deep, and I forgot more than a lot of people, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Will know about this shit. So I'm, you know, I started just say, okay, well, you know what? I noticed the more I try to, you know, fight this argument or something, the more I'm wasting my time trying to, because I'm more interested in actually, you know, focusing on these vaccine issues and these fake ass politics and the stuff that's happening all around me, even if it's flat or if it's round. I just wanted to keep some of that momentum going. Don't let this one topic, you know, disable all the momentum I had going with all those other issues.
Yeah, no,
Kinda what
that's really respectable, and I understand people taking that point of view, and that's one criticism I've received from serious truthers at times is you're taking away, you know, momentum or focus from this. I got a friend who like spends all his free time looking into the election stuff and people who are wrongfully convicted. He finds all kinds of crap and links to all these like spook shadow organizations and stuff. And you know, he won't touch flat earth because he sees that as more immediate and important. But from my point of view, this is kind of like a paradigm breaker. you know, if we were able
What was
to,
that?
you know, prove
mean,
it to an extent where people could see easily that they're being lied to, that would kind of break the spell, in my opinion. If it's true, which I believe it is, but you know, who knows? But I respect your opinion. That's commendable that you at least have looked into it and come to your own conclusion.
So at least he's a skeptic. At least you're a skeptic, right? You don't just take the blue pill and be happy and smile about it.
Right, and exactly, and my mind's not absolutely made up because obviously I've not been in that spaceship to see it for myself. So all of this I have to understand is just, it might be a proper basic belief or a true basic belief. It's still a fucking belief, and you know, one way or another.
Yeah.
However I look at it.
And you get how they've manipulated us from the beginning since we were kids, giving us that image. That's why it's so difficult for most people to let it go, because they've seen it everywhere, literally.
I've got no trust for government when it comes to that kind of shit. I mean, you could name a dozen different fucked up things that government's done to the unwitting population, just medically. You know, not even like blowing up levees or doing any of that other shit, but just medically, you know, they've done some fucked up shit to us. And
government has literally been behind every conspiracy, every event, every how do I say this? Every paradigm changing event. It's literally been government behind it. People don't just assemble and decide to do shit, right? People are lazy in that regard. It's always been. I don't know how it's so difficult to get people to think about governmental bodies as being conspiracies when they literally have been driving the conspiracies.
But and governments are just shell companies for the World Bank.
I mean, but so it's all kind of,
it's really one central hub ruling all of these things through proxy, making us think we're all on separate teams.
All of it, literally all of it, all the governments, all the corporations, they are all just one extension of each other.
Yeah, one central hub.
I mean, if you're
one ring.
If you're comfortable with understanding, that's what Rockefeller did with Central. Wasn't it Central Oil? Was that what it was called? Started, right? So allegedly, so that Rockefeller, wouldn't have a monopoly. All of a sudden, you've got 10 different oil companies that appear, but all they did was break up his company into
sister
10
companies. Yeah. Just fooled the world, didn't they? And they thought we were going to continue to be that stupid. Oh, we did.
But if it wasn't for the internet, most of us would have still been in La La Land. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know.
I'm a little bit confused because I don't know if maybe they wanted this to happen, or you know what I'm saying?
This is a direct. See, without the internet, we were already finding this out, and it was being taken more seriously because less information was there to muddy the waters.
That's true, but the internet did
muddy the water, dude.
It accelerated
everything. It desensitized everyone to everything. No one no longer cares. It's barely a big deal that anything's happening anymore because you're so desensitized. You've been just overstimulated with negative after negative after negative. That now this other negative is like almost a fucking positive.
Yeah, we had no hope before, though, Grim. I mean, they controlled all the media outlets. It was like pamphlets and, cult books, underground books, the wacky bookstore, and word of mouth. I mean, it was very tough to learn about anything before the internet, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
Even to get exposed to ideas,
You've had to already been in a certain area, like maybe work for the army or something, and be suspicious to be able to look into things. So if you're not in the army, if you don't see shady shit, you're not gonna suspect the army, right? If you don't work in the Pentagon and you don't see shady shit, right? So it's people from those same areas that see shady shit going on, and they start looking into it, which is what starts the conspiracy.
I just don't think they
is those people in the field that leak the information. But again, the government is the one who created the internet in the first place and gave it to us. So they had a plan with that, right? And controlling the information all psychology has been studied for a really long time. They used to do it in very inhumane ways, so they figured out exactly what to do a long time ago. In very inhumane ways that didn't take very long at all to figure out, you know? So they've already dialed that in on us. Now they're implementing it in slow boiling water increments. You know what I mean?
This goes back as far back as, remember Plato's allegory of the cave?
Yes.
Kim, you're breaking up real bad, bro.
Oh, shoot.
You just got
hold on, let me try to
crackling coming through. You might need to drop and rejoin, or maybe your wire's loose or something, it sounds like.
Like people find it very
It's
difficult
the
to
Doppler
believe.
effect. He's traveling near the speed of light.
Oh, obviously.
Like
yeah.
to understand the psychology of it all, like it sounds very nefarious, and it is, right? But I think they're responsible for most movements. I think they're responsible for them, right? I think all these movements, most of the conspiracies, they make them up.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Even if they don't make them up, even if they don't make them up, they co-opt them very quickly. In a lot of cases.
That too.
I got an example, right? Like the alien thing, right? How easy would it have been for them to just start kidnapping people to experiment on them, right? And just blame it on a bunch of aliens. That way, whatever victim comes forth, everybody's gonna think they're crazy by default. I mean, it's literally the perfect
Just
story.
a little secret, a little hint. They actually breed humans. They don't need to go and kidnap wild ones from anywhere. It's a whole different ball game in reality.
Bro, I don't. To tell you the truth, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
If you can imagine it, that's how sick they are. Just about, or worse.
Talking about like
I mean, think about the economic. You know what I mean? Just if you were, just pretend like you were like this, you know, maniacal. You know what I mean? Just evil, you know, type or whatever. You want to control the world. You have unlimited resources. I mean, you're really just not gonna risk your getting caught a lot by running out and snagging wild ones. You keep everything in a prison down in a cave that you can blow up if anybody comes down there.
You really think they're all evil like that? You really, at the end of the conspiracies, you really think that they're all evil?
They don't see themselves as evil, but they do things that we would consider morally evil, right? Because they have all throughout history, right?
No, but not necessarily scientists. Scientists are more middlemen
and shit, or put mercury in them, and they would just electrocute or boil the gay out of women. You know what I mean? Like you don't think that's evil. They thought it was science. I don't think they thought it was evil either. But it's, when you look at it, it's fucking inhumanely weird, man.
But remember, these people are not necessarily on the top though, right? Like most scientists, all they really want is a pat on the head, saying good job and recognition. So they'll do anything to do that, even bend their morals, which is why we have things like the atom bomb, things like that, because they
need the funding and the direction. And so to get direction and funding, these are what I'm talking about. That's why they picked those crazy psychiatrist type Germans in Operation Paperclip and all the other bullshit. Because it's not about, because the governments one isn't good and the other one's bad. They're all fucked up, man. They're all going to use the same fucked up scientists too, because they have the same fucked up goals.
Yep. I agree. Let me read this super chat real quick and then we'll keep going. It's a really interesting conversation. Tis I the Count, US $5. New paper shows Newton's law of gravitation applies to masses as small as 90 milligrams. Huh. I'll check this link out. Count. Thank you very much. I thought it applied to everything, but okay.
Yeah, that's the Cavendish experiment with 90 milligram gold balls.
Okay.
And the attraction is like 10 to the negative 14 newtons. Extremely minute force.
Oh yeah, it's tiny. Absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
How's my audio now?
Oh, and I don't think it's any better, to be honest.
Shit.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah, it sounds like bicycle spokes with a like a playing card in them.
I'll have to check this out. Account. Thank you for the link. It's see what this is all about. Gravity measured with record precision. It looks like, yeah, it's another Cavendish thing, huh?
And it's done in a vacuum.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I've read about 17 or 18 of those Cavendish papers by now, so add another one on the pile. Maybe I'll learn something new this time. Not to brag or anything, you know. I do have a lot of Cavendish reading.
I think they should use a conductive material in between the two balls, so it would balance out the charges on the two balls, so that they couldn't be of any different charge to attract each other.
I'm surprised they haven't done that.
Yeah, there was something,
they might
and I'm not sure what it was. There was something about a Faraday cage.
Yeah, well, when you ground a ball, a person thinks that a ground actually is zero, but a ground is not actually zero. It's an infinitesimally small charge on a ground on Earth ground. So it's not actually a zero. So there's still a charge on these balls. So what you need to do is to eliminate that charge, because they use that kind of language to trick you guys into thinking that that's a zero ground. It's not. There's a fucking charge. There's electrons still. Hold on, I got a phone call.
I was reading something yesterday. It was actually the Wikipedia page for gravimeter. I was kind of bouncing around the internet and I ended up there. And it said something interesting about, let me see if I can bring it up. It said something interesting about the gravimeter being able to detect the sun, the positions of the sun and moon because of their the gravity of the sun and moon, I guess, the energy coming off of them or whatever. So how did they rule that out with Cavendish, that there is some celestial energy that is causing it of some kind? Because the gravimeter detects it.
The celestial energy goes up and down. The Cavendish measures.
Yeah, but it's balanced. That's balanced on a torsion bar. So wouldn't it just on a ball? If you push on anywhere on the ball, it's going to move, isn't it?
The balance is the interesting word there.
Why is that?
Because it means that it's balanced. It means that the forces acting on both sides are the same.
But what if cosmic rays hit it, right?
What's that?
What if it's one ball gets struck by cosmic rays while the other doesn't from any direction?
Yeah, right.
Hey, Grim, what about the electric effect? What about the electric effect taking effect on these material matter?
I couldn't tell you, man. It would have to be
because
it would have to be the surface effect. I mean,
if you have these Cavendish balls on a torsion bar, you could be, you know, the electromagnetic field, depending on the frequency, can affect the matter, right? So why is that ever accounted for? I mean, the electric, what do you call it? Einstein's
Faraday.
What do you call it? No, it's basically making metal move on frequency of light, right? Forget the name is skipping me now. The electric effect. What's it called there?
The Faraday effect.
The photoelectric
No.
effect.
Yeah, photoelectric
photoelectric
effect.
effect.
So
Thank you,
basically, sorry, my bad. So basically, you're finding metals reacting to the spectrum of certain spectrums of light, right?
The magnetic spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, so Faraday, in his experiment, trying to find any attractive properties of gold, used the same apparatus as Cavendish. If you look at Faraday's test example, trying to find attractive properties, he detected no attractive qualities with gold. Sorry. So if we're having this effect with types of metals, why don't they put Cavendish gold? Why don't they use gold? Considering it would be.
Why wouldn't they? I would want them to do that if that's one of the parameters. You know what I mean?
Well, my research.
Wouldn't it come down to a funding thing, though?
The research that I see is that the
come on, it doesn't cost that much. For some gold, I mean, you know.
No, that experiment that Brandon was talking about, he got the link for. I think that those 90mm balls are made of gold. I think.
Are they made of gold? So here, according to so if they're made of gold, Cavendish's experiment shows there is no attraction. There is no force moving the gold. So how is it moving with Cavendish then, right? If Faraday did the exact same experiment, but trying, obviously it wasn't to the extent of Cavendish with these big balls. It was a smaller apparatus, but the principle was the same, which was two objects on a torsion bar, right? Two metals on the end of it.
Casimir effect or something, though, right? Like
his results showed no attraction, no movement, nothing. That's according to the Faraday book volume. Give me a second.
I'm looking for gold in this article to see if that's accurate, that they were using gold.
Are you saying, because I'm not familiar with the other one, but it would be interesting.
It was gold spheres.
The experiment Faraday did falsifies the Cavendish experiment. That it showed no movement.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In his study, he's using the same principle of a torsion bar with two objects. Yeah, so you can look at the diagram. I'm just trying to bring up the book. I have it somewhere here, where you can look at the apparatus, and you can read about what he did during the apparatus with the gold leaf on the torsion bars. And he was trying to purposely move the gold with electricity, right? He's trying to see what kind of properties they had. Well, if you can't move these two attractions with any electromagnetic energy, I have to go back and read it again. But anyway, I'll get to the book. Give me a second. Everybody can read it.
Yeah.
I just have to find it.
We need more on that one.
You're talking about it through two different ways. Like, so if you had a surface tension on a gold ball, sorry, did I say surface tension? Sorry. If, a surface charge on a gold ball that with less electrons than another gold ball, the surface will attract the other surface. So I'm not sure what you're saying, like as far as like.
Okay, so if you go to Faraday's experiment.
Hold on, he was almost done.
On a
Data.
sphere,
Sorry.
Yeah, electric forces on a sphere behave a little differently, and they can cause long-range attraction, short-range repulsion, and find what we would call, if you were using gravity as an example, like a Lagrange point, a point where they don't move towards or away from each other. And I'm just wondering, did they already know that point and then set those balls in that place?
I'm not certain, but what you can do, I'm still researching this, but Faraday's Experimental Researches in Electricity, Volume 1. It is on page, I think it's on page 52. Just give me a sec.
If you could send me the citation, I'll bring it up.
Well, you can just download the PDF, Faraday's Experimental Researches in Electricity PDF, Volume 1. It's free. I have the book. The book won't be the same page as the PDF.
That's fine.
This is a while back.
I'll bring it up. Will you just type the name in the IM it to me or something? DM, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. This is pretty interesting. This one that Count sent. Howard, are you Count, Howard?
Do what?
Are you the Count? Tis I the Count on YouTube?
No.
Okay. You spoke up like you were familiar with this article, so I thought maybe.
Oh yeah. It was covered somewhere this morning. I'm not sure where I heard it at.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So this is interesting. They did use gold bars, and they had a Faraday shield. It looks like they were using a torsion bar, and they were just using one ball. So it's a little different than Cavendish, and moving it back and forth near one of the masses on the torsion balance with the Faraday shield in between and measuring any movement. But my original question was, what about this force that they're saying that they're measuring here with the gravimeter, which says many broadband 3-axis seismometers in common use are sensitive enough to track the sun and moon. When operated to report acceleration, they are useful gravimeters. Because they have 3 axes, it is possible to solve for their position orientation by either tracking the arrival time and pattern of seismic waves from earthquakes or by referencing them to the sun and moon tidal gravity. How did they rule out tidal gravity?
Well, in Cavendish in 182, it says, upon the supposition the rotation of the Earth is tended by a magnoelectric induction, cause currents in its own mass, these would be according to the law and the experiments upon the surface, at least from the parts in the neighborhood of or towards the plane of the equator. opposite direction of the poles. But again, it's upon the supposition of the rotation of Earth. What they're telling you that they're noticing, observing it, but then they're going to give you a supposition out of it. That's regarding this is in page 53, 182. And then you're talking about your gravimeter, which is on page 81, which again, it's based on a supposition, the results. It says, so the effects that may be almost infinitely varied, some being exalted whilst other being diminished, is universally acknowledged, yet without any doubt of the identity of character of the voltaic currents, thus made to differ in their effect. The beautiful explication? Sorry. The beautiful explication?
Explication?
Yeah, explication. EXPLICATION. Explication? Beautiful explication? Explication. Sorry. Yeah. Various of these variations afforded by the Cavendish theory of quantity and intensity requires no support at present, as it is not supposed to be doubted. Anyway, you should definitely read this book because it's pretty straightforward. He does tell you. Here it is, the gravimeter. Here we go. It says here to section 289, page 83. It says here. Let me read quickly. I'm just trying to do this on the fly here.
Sure. No, that's no problem.
Give me a second here.
And I'm trying to bring the PDF up, but I'm having trouble finding the PDF. But go ahead.
It says the experiments made of this head and the memoir read as the Academic des Sciences in 1826 describes experiments in which, by the use of battery points and a delicate galvanometer, he succeeded in obtaining deflections and thus establishing identity in that respect. So they're obviously picking something up with it, but again, it's based on a supposition of what they're picking up. Let me just keep reading here. I'm not at the page I want to be at. Anyway, the Galvin, section 293.
Well, what's the bottom line, Data?
Well, they're creating something. They see something. They're creating it, but it's based in a supposition.
Right. So they're measuring some force of some kind, but some kind of energy. And they're assuming what it is essentially what you're saying.
That's what it's reading here, right? They can read it from themselves. They'll tell you that it's a supposition.
Yeah.
They're whatever they're doing with the copper wire and the space between, like they're doing all these little, like, it's just funny how it really revolves around coiling copper wire and the effects that coiling copper wire does over a magnet bar. It's really, I don't really see it as like some complex thing. When you look at the I guess the basic fundamentals of it with wrapping copper around stuff, and they're measuring these effects, and then I'm trying to find that really cool part. Just give me a second.
Sure.
At least this is my understanding, obviously.
Yeah, no problem. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this one in detail though. This one where they use the gold masses. You know, it doesn't really impress me. These, I'll be honest with you. What would impress me is if I saw one that was scaled to like the size of the Earth in the sun, which would be like a bowling ball and a little pebble, 77 feet apart, and you could show me that the bowling ball impacted the pebble. I'd be interested in seeing something like that. If you can show me that can impact it. Because otherwise I question whether you can take a result like this where you're 3 millimeters away, you've got a little twitch, and you're measuring a force that's 9 times 10 to the negative 14th, which was so tiny. And then you're going to say, yeah, this is the force that keeps the whole universe going, that makes the planets revolve around and makes the sun fly through the universe and all this shit. Makes the Earth spin ceaselessly and around the sun. It stretches my suspension and disbelief too far.
Gravity has little to do with the Earth spin, but
yeah. So
can I just come in and say
I meant
something?
yeah. Let me clarify. I meant the orbit. Yeah, I get you though.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead. Yep. Go Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I saw an interesting experiment. Someone took a charged battery and they hold it up and they dropped it on the table. And then they took an uncharged battery, identical, dropped it on the table, and they bounced differently. There were different sounds. And the charged battery was heavier than the uncharged battery. And I'm saying, do they pull at different rates? Because they certainly sound like it.
Well, that seems like it would be a pretty easy experiment to set up and conduct. Yeah, that's interesting.
Have you ever heard of Ken Wheeler?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've seen Ken's stuff. I'm not big into him, but I've seen it. Grim, I'm sure, is into Ken.
Yeah, that was one of his things.
No, I'm not into him, but
He
I know.
dropped an empty battery on the table and it bounced, and then he dropped a charged battery and it bounced differently, and there were different sounds. It's quite interesting. And then he weighed them, or he didn't actually weigh them, but he said the charged battery is heavier than the uncharged battery.
The charged battery is heavier and it bounced more, you think? Or differently?
It bounced differently. I can't remember which way they did the bounce, but
okay.
You could hear them and the sounds were different, and when you watched them, they bounced differently. It was quite interesting experiment.
Huh. I'll have to check that out. That was Ken Wheeler that did that?
Yeah, Ken Wheeler. It was about a month ago, something like that. Maybe a little bit longer.
Okay. Maybe I'll see if I can
So it says
bring that up.
In Faraday's book here, section 343, under tension, it says the attraction and repulsion due to the tension of ordinary electricity has been well observed with that evolved of magnetoelectric induction. He says by using an apparatus clever in its construction and powerful in its action, was able to obtain great divergence of the gold leaves. So they're telling you here that there's an attraction and repulsion due to the tension of ordinary electricity, right? And so we're watching Cavendish when Faraday tells you that in his own experiment.
There's no electricity involved in Cavendish.
Why not? The field that we're in has electromagnetic energy in it. Of course it does. And in fact, Einstein's photoelectric effect shows you that you can change responses to matter based on the frequency of light. So what the hell are you talking about? Of course you can.
Well, do you think the Cavendish would work in a dark room as well as in a lit room?
I don't know that, because at the end of the day, it's a field array that we live in. So it's electromagnetic energy. It's something that we can't feel or see. So you can quantify it with Coulomb's law, or you can look at Faraday's experiments using electromagnetic repulsion and attraction.
And do they always use spheres? Is there something to the fact? Why don't they use little cubes instead, or something different? Why always a sphere? I was just wondering. Or is it always a sphere?
That's the perfect state.
Yeah, it has to do with the attraction being to the center of mass.
Yeah, they can treat it like a point source, right?
Right, but I mean, but if you just look at what happens on a sphere with the electric surface of a sphere, there's some wonky properties that start to occur because it's a sphere.
So no other shape has a center of mass?
That's right. So I can't use a tetrahedron, right? Because it doesn't have a center of mass. Of course it does. And that's the whole point, right? Like, why not another shape?
A ruler has a center of mass, man. A flat stick has a center of mass. Everything has a center of mass. You don't need a sphere.
Parlor trick. It's a parlor trick, guys.
Yeah.
No, it's not nothing tricky about it. That's just the way it works.
In section 335 of Faraday's, it says, I have assumed in accordance, I believe, with the opinion of every philosopher that atmospheric electricity is the same nature of the ordinary electricity. And I might therefore refer to certain published statements of chemical effects produced by the former as proofs that the later enjoys the power of decomposition in common with voltaic electricity. I have to read that to clarify that.
That makes it legit.
What did that mean? Translate that for me.
I'm going to reread it myself. I have assumed in accordance, I believe, with the opinion of every other philosopher that atmospheric electricity is the same nature with ordinary electricity.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that we should pay attention to the key word in there. I think it's philosopher.
Well, that's why I read it, is because at the end of the day, it's an opinion of every philosopher.
What year was Faraday around? What time period?
Right. Philosophy used to be science. That used to be one of the names for science, like a natural philosophy.
Right. I know, but that's why I'm asking him when he was alive.
Yeah, that's the time period.
This is 1839.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the time period. So you're good.
Yeah, 1791 to 1867. Okay.
Right, Grim. I don't disagree with that, because I also appreciate the word science, which just means knowledge, right? So, but you wouldn't believe the grief that I get when I say that reading the Bible is a science. Oh no, it's not. It's not science. No. Okay, so I mean, I appreciate the fact that you said that, philosophers
Almost
back in the
anything is a science if you study it, right?
Great.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. But my point is the concept of a philosopher nowadays is like Aristotle, where they just think about how many angels can.
Oh no, I get it. A theoretical physicist holds no real merit or weight to me compared to, an experimental physicist.
Right.
So I agree.
Yeah, but the theoretical guys, the theoretical guys are proven later by the experimental guys.
Really, no, they're not. Not all the time.
Yes, they are usually. If they're
No,
not, then the theory is no good.
That's the problem. Like, you can't really theoretically, test an untestable hypothesis. You can't touch. What you can do.
Well,
is
but
you
then
can
again, like Einstein's theorized that there'd be gravity waves, and 70 years later we find them.
Right.
You know.
But you don't. Though. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, we actually did. Actually, the LIGO actually did.
No, you actually don't.
So
That's the
just to
problem.
go on with
You gotta
Faraday
keep on
further,
repeating
guys.
yourself, and I'm gonna explain myself after I say no, you didn't, because there's other explanations that you just rule out by decree just to achieve a certain dogmatic.
No, not with two sensors in the time frame. Sorry, no.
Yes, they agree. They both sensed them, and they
If
agree.
one senses something and the other one does not, they toss it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, so that's not really contested in that way, right? Because you're talking about sensors that are you're saying it's because they're moving, but it's outside of the gravitational potential, which adds to the mechanical nature of the atomic clock in the first place. So you're dealing with two different.
You familiar how LIGO works?
Yeah, you have two. I'm not even talking about LIGO. I'm talking about time dilation and satellites.
Oh, time dilation. But time dilation is pretty well proven. Actually, they started doing that with atomic clocks on airplanes.
So wait a sec. It's proven by what? 0.0004 milliseconds.
Time dilation itself is not proven at all. No,
Actually,
time
right.
dilation
So
itself is
it's
not proven at
negligible
all.
then, right? It's a
What's been
negligible
proven
measure.
is a strain on an atomic clock has been proven, right?
As you go faster, the time slows down.
You're
Yeah.
ignoring the forces on the strain on the atomic clock, and you're treating them as if time is actually changing when actually the physical nature of what's happening.
Velocity.
The clock has changed, dude.
That's right.
Right, and the
So,
velocity changed the time.
Try again.
Velocity would put forces on the mechanisms of the wheel or whatever crystal is being used. It would put forces on it.
Incorrect.
It would put forces on it and make it inaccurate. That's why you have
And
compensation.
you know how atomic clock works to say that,
Yeah.
no, sir.
Okay, so what are they using? What are they using? Are they using crystals?
The man who wrote the
Are they
book
using crystals
Escaping
or what?
Einstein, who augmented this satellite so that it would actually work for GPS, Ron Hatch.
GPS is a good one. The other one is the fact that we see
you're not
cosmic.
listening. Ron Hatch
the-
GPS is
we also
only,
see
only
cosmic
works
rays.
because of Ron Hatch. Hey, dude,
You
you're
know,
not listening.
some of the stuff that
The
we
reason
some of
GPS wasn't
the
working
particles we
is
see on Earth shouldn't be here
It
because
was
they only
wrong.
last like 2 milliseconds.
I'm sorry, I don't know half the time which side you're arguing.
Look, the cosmic rays. I mean, some of the particles we see only last like 2 milliseconds, and we still see them at the
Why did
surface
you
How do you explain
because
that?
the time dilation.
What
They're
about what I
moving
was
at the
just
speed of
saying,
light.
though? We're not even focused on what I'm saying. It's weird.
No, the speed of there's more than one. There's more than one proof of time dilation.
Have you ever heard of a
Those
guy
aren't proofs, dude. That's my
Dassim
point. You're not focusing on
He
like. If I'm
claims
going
to
to
have
talk
fixed
on one
all
at a
of
time, you can't start
Einstein's
jumping all
mistakes.
over the place.
I'm sorry, two people are talking. I can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Oh, okay. So,
hello.
Why did you just
Let's make it simple. There's no such thing as time dilation.
Actually, there is.
How's that?
No, there's not.
Actually, there is.
Yeah, but there's not.
There is actually. The faster you go, the
No, you just have what you call evidence for it, which is not proof for it, and it's not.
so how much evidence do you need before it's proven?
Well, for one,
need to
if
know-
you think something is evidence when it's not actually evidence, like I said,
It is
you think
actually
it's
evidence, though.
which it's not. No, it's not really
No.
because there's.
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay, say that again. And every time I go to explain why, you go, yes, it is again. Like, why don't you just shut up for a minute?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what the disagreement is between you
I'm
two.
trying to understand something. Why do
yeah.
you keep talking?
Yeah.
Right, that's the difference between me and you. When I'm trying to understand something, I'm quiet and I'm listening. Yeah.
Go ahead, Grim.
So, right. So the point is that your time dilation, whatever proof, is not proof of time dilation due to the speed of an object or whatever. Ron Hatch, the man who wrote the book Escaping Einstein and who augmented the GPS systems for the military and the agricultural, so you can get down to the centimeter, he had to augment it because Einstein's theory was incorrect. It had more to do with the gravitational potential of Earth than it did the speed it was going. That's what was causing the stress on the mechanical atomic clocks, the stress on the atomic clocks. And so if you want to hassle me about it or whatever, just look it up, dude. Ron Hatch, look up the gps.gov fucking Ron Hatch, dude. You'll have a nice day learning that man who wrote the book, by the way, Escaping Einstein.
Yeah, can I just come in here?
In his whole book, he clearly tells you exactly how he did what he did. And it had nothing to do with following Einstein's
and let's
fucking
make-
relativity. So have a nice day.
Yeah, right on, bro. Let's make one thing clear. The difference in these so-called atomic clocks, cesium atomic clocks, I believe they were, the difference is like 1/4 billionth of a second, something like that. Like, try measuring that, and then try attributing that to time dilation. It's sheer lunacy.
No, that's what makes GPS work.
You didn't listen at all.
Not a word.
Did you just claim that time dilation makes GPS work?
Yes. Yes, if you didn't have the timestamps and they didn't take the time dilation into account, GPS wouldn't work.
Your
And
position
again, you don't.
in physical reality is affected by time dilation.
In the timing signals from the satellite to your receiver, yes.
Do you realize that it's negligible of a 0.0004 millisecond? So there's actually no delay. Do you understand that? They literally say it's negligible.
Yeah. You know, I don't know enough about it to get into a debate about it, but I do know it is a thing.
It isn't a thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's 0.0004 milliseconds. They literally say it's non-negotiable. Or sorry, it's negligible. Sorry, not non-negotiable. It's negligible in their results. They don't need to. There's no adding the 0.0004 milliseconds, dude. It's asinine.
Probably don't know
Well,
about
wait
it.
a minute.
So you guys
margin
don't
of error is greater than the significant finding.
How do you? Okay, so atomic clocks. Maybe you guys have some for that. I doubt it, but maybe. Let's go on. What about the fact that short-lived particles live faster when they're traveling faster? How about that one?
Yeah. How about the fact that your doomsday clock? You want to explain that and why we're down to like what the last 2 minutes? Do you want to explain that?
What's the doomsday clock got to do with this discussion?
Oh, it's your atomic clock, dude. It's all rooted in your atomic clock technology.
The doomsday clock is
comes
a
from
totally different thing.
Comes from the same
Okay,
principle
and
as your atomic
exactly
clock,
how
bro.
do you know
Totally different subject. Political
okay,
subject.
how
Totally
do you
different.
know
Is it really now?
Yeah,
these
totally.
Atomic particles decay faster when they're moving faster.
It's slower.
Excuse me. How do you know that?
It's been reported. You can see.
It's been reported. Aliens have been.
You can
reported.
set up a cloud chamber and see particles come down from the sky that shouldn't be there because they don't live long enough.
Oh, interesting thing. Again, you're moving into a greater potential of the gravitational well, which is right along with what Ron Hatch says.
Sorry, the gravitational well has little to do with this discussion.
Actually, you don't know that. That's the issue, right? So
Actually,
the
it has little to
gravitational
do with this
that's what
discussion.
you can't know. It's absolutely everything to do with the discussion.
What does the
because that's what
gravitational
Ron
well
Hatch-
have to do? What does the gravitational
That's
well have
how
to do
Ron
with
Hatch
short-lived
fucking-
particles living longer?
wow, that's exactly how Ron Hatch had the mechanical clock adjustments too.
We're not talking about the mechanical clock.
Yeah, but we are talking about a subatomic particle.
Right.
Right.
Which is different than the atomic clock.
So yeah, but no, the God damn, bro. So we're talking about the subatomic particle, and we're talking about an action like a force causing a change in the rate of decay on the subatomic particle. So it's really all in line.
Force has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, that's another issue. But
no, force.
They've already thought they've disproven the. They've already thought they've. Hold on a second. Let me talk to Rumpus for 1 second, please.
You don't know
that. They've already thought they've disproven that the time dilation by the atomic clock, and we've moved on now to short-lived particles living longer at high speeds, and now they think they can debunk that because of the gravitational well, which is total and complete.
Well, you really haven't provided any evidence or any coherent argument, to be honest. We haven't seen anything. You've just said, yeah, and I'd like to see some evidence for either side. But let me get a couple things out of the way, and then we'll go back to this, and I'll let you guys go on this subject. So James Richard, $10. He said, I believe and philosophers. Not once did I hear scientists, because it becomes outside the realm of science, diving into the world of religions and beliefs. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. And then Astro King, before I let these guys loose on this subject, did you have something? I heard you trying to get in there a couple times. I want to give you a chance.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to say, have you guys heard of a guy called Nassim Haramein? He claims to have fixed all Einstein's errors. I just urge you to look him up, and Nassim Haramein, and
there are no Einstein errors. They've all been proved to be correct. All of his predictions have been proved to be 100% correct.
Nassim Haramein, can you put his name in the? Can you put his name in the general for me, Astro King? I'd appreciate it if you did. I'll bring him up.
yeah, I think it's on the screen right now.
Oh, okay. I found it. Okay.
Someone's Googled him, and you should also look up the fractal holographic universe. That's something you should definitely look into.
Fractal holographic universe. Good.
Sounds interesting. Sounds like a nice rabbit hole there. We'll check it out.
Yeah, and in the fractal holographic universe, there's no such thing as particles and all this stuff that sort of like physicists say there is. And
yeah, just for your information, Brandon, when you didn't have a show, I think 2 weeks ago, and I stepped in, Astro King came on and gave a little bit of a discussion to the fractal universe concept.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. I heard some of that. Gotcha.
Yeah, you guys should definitely look into it, because it's like the new science. A lot of people are looking into this right now. It hasn't been conclusively proved, but it's very, very interesting.
No, it's
and
not.
You can make sort of like time machines out of these theories and all sorts of stuff.
Well, I'll definitely check that out, Astro King. Thanks for those tips. Now, between the three of you, Grim and Rumpus and Paid NASA Shill, which one of you has evidence for their position regarding the time dilation and the atomic clocks?
Well, GPS proves it. They have to make a correction for time dilation for the GPS to work. And if they didn't, they'd be out by many miles. I think it only takes something a half an hour or something before you'll get several miles error if you hadn't made the time dilation corrections.
That's what I was talking
Rumpus, just out of curiosity, it's all straight lines and angles, right?
in time.
It's all straight lines and angles, isn't it? There's no curve to these two positions, are there? Let me finish, gentlemen. When you're calculating the distance and the time dilation between these two objects, it's in a straight path, right, Rumpus?
It's actually curves, but that's an issue.
Again, it's in a straight path, isn't it, Rumpus?
There is Yeah, I mean there is some slight refraction, I think.
Slight refraction
of the radio waves. Oh,
Well, you also
Can I
also
finish a
the
sentence, please? Sorry. Yeah, there is some slight refraction, I believe, in the radio waves you get from the satellites if they're not, as they get close. Hold on.
how does curved lines?
To the horizon,
How does curved lines?
you have more
how does
refraction.
curved lines
If you have a satellite
equate for
above
refraction?
You, there is no refraction.
How does curved lines equate for refraction?
And then you can use a straight line.
How
Jesus Christ! Why
do
don't
you
you
equate?
ever allow anybody
How
else
do you
have a
calculate
sentence? You
for
interrupt
refraction
all
using
the
a curved
time.
line?
Why can't you allow other people to finish their goddamn sentence?
Because
You
you're
rude
full of
twat.
shit.
You rude
How much
twat.
time?
You're
You
full of shit.
obnoxious, rude, ill-mannered twat.
It's time from a satellite signal. That's
How
the
do you
signal.
how do you calculate refraction from a
You
curved
never
line?
let anybody else finish their point.
How do you calculate
ill-mannered,
refraction from a
rude
curved
wanker.
line? You
You're
can't.
an
You guys are all
ill-mannered,
wankers.
rude wanker who tries to use debate employees
That's all.
to stop
Where
people
do I
from making
post
their
my
point.
links?
You're an obnoxious little tosser.
Yeah,
Brandon.
you're trying to
Where
equate
should I
for
post my
refraction.
links?
You can't do it from curved lines. moron.
Trilateralization. Come on.
Yeah, straight lines and angles.
Hey guys,
Trilateration,
Trilateration.
straight line.
let's
They're
slow
angles.
down.
They're
a little bit.
angles
Trilateration, not
making triangles. dude.
triangulation. It actually has to do with time from the
Trilateration.
signal.
Trilateration is using triangles. Thank you very much.
No, actually, no. It's using curved lines from the satellite
Again,
because you're going with
do me a
time.
favor.
signals.
You
Tell me where to
cannot
post my link.
calculate refraction on a curved line, moron. And if you can, I'd love to see.
Rob,
Yeah,
understand
it's all
how-
calculated. It's all
Do you
calculated
understand
straight
how
lines.
GPS works or not?
Yeah, Cartesian is the base foundation of all GPS.
You too, low, Bob.
Yep.
It has to do with time signals, and those time signals
Again,
are
it's
across
a negligible. It's a
Yeah, you
negligible
don't
amount
want
of
to stop interrupting
0.000
Hey
people.
guys,
milliseconds.
guys,
deal.
the audience
Interrupting
can't
people, you
hear
obnoxious little
anything
wanker.
because nobody will let the other person finish speaking. The audience has no clue what's going on right now.
Data keeps on interrupting everybody.
Well, everybody,
little
please
wanker.
stop interrupting each other, please.
Where should I post my links?
In general, would be good.
The point is that GPS has to make an
First link is
allowance for time
posted.
dilation. If they didn't, there'd be a huge error. This is well
And
established.
Trumpus,
And the
they don't
These
do-
interrupting me
they
again.
don't calculate
Shut up, you twat!
in curved
So
paths.
shut up, you twat!
So why are you
rude,
lying?
ill-mannered,
Why are you
censoring
lying?
little twat!
You can't calculate
Be
refraction
quiet, you
using a
twat.
curved
I was in
line.
mid-sentence, you twat.
Let Robert
Brandon, you've
finish
got to
his
stop this
sentence.
guy.
Data, you did interrupt.
Please.
You did interrupt.
Right.
Data.
So it's an established fact by the designers of GPS that they included the time dilation effects of both special relativity and general relativity to get the results they had to get in the accuracy.
So
Finish.
Rumpus,
God, you
Rumpus
rude
between-
little wanker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between 2 points, there's a constant negligible error of 0.0004 milliseconds. So tell me, when does the error go
Back that
greater
up. That
over
was
the
random.
distance?
That was
Is
just a
it
random. You
20
made that
is
up.
it- Is it 20,000 miles? How far away does the error increase it if it's only negligible at 0.0004 milliseconds?
You just made that up. Who
That's a
cares what
fact,
you-
buddy.
No, you
Go
just
look
make
at
it-
time dilation between
I'm
satellites.
talking
It's
to-
0.0004 milliseconds, dude. That's
you
the
are
error.
denying-
That's the error. So now, a question to you: at what distance does the error become greater?
You are
20,000
denying-
miles,
Oh my
10,000 miles, 5,000
Right,
miles.
given the fact that you deny that the designers of the GPS
What am I
system-
denying? What am I
Oh my
denying?
God, if you let me finish my sentence,
What am I
I'd have
denying,
told you,
buddy?
Be quiet. Stop being so
What am I
rude, you
denying?
moron. You
Tell me what I'm denying
ill-mannered, rude
first.
twat. Shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Tell me
Be
what I'm
quiet,
denying
you
first.
twat. Be quiet, you utterly obnoxious little twat.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact that you are denying that GPS...
What am I denying?
Oh my God, I'm trying to tell you, you little moron. The
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that you are denying that the GPS designers have included special relativity and general relativity means you know
Okay,
nothing
straight
about the
lines,
subject.
right?
So
Time
we can
dilation's in
ignore
straight lines,
everything
right,
you
Rumpus?
say on this subject
Time
because you know
dilation
nothing
is
about
calculated.
it, and you've made up this number.
Time
and you
dilation
said it
is
was
used-
constant for the different,
Time
the same or
dilation-
different distances.
Hold
whatever.
on,
And
Rumpus
you'll
just
have said
said
it's completely
Rumpus,
wrong.
let's stop right there. Let's poke right there. So Rumpus just said you made up this number, Data. Where did you get these numbers that you're saying? What is the origin of these numbers?
Just researching trilateration and the signal between 2 points. According to their information, they say that it's a 0.0004 millisecond duration between two points of information. So exchanging between the receiver and transmitter, it's a delay of that long, which they call negligible. So if you look at any time dilation, you look at any trilateration, it's always straight lines and angles. There is no curved line in any of the calculations because they're using Euclidean to do time dilation.
Try again.
Is that a margin of error? Is that a margin of error, or is that
Again?
is that a
Listen to the listen to what they say. It's negligible. Negligible. Go look it up.
Negligible. They
It is
have to
negligible.
allow for it. The GPS designers specifically allowed for
How
the
do you
time
calculate for refraction, Rumpus, over a curved line?
Just twat.
How do you calculate for refraction over a curved line?
Be quiet,
you
you
can't.
Twat. Be quiet, you little ill-mannered
You can't.
rude twat.
All right,
Be quiet,
let him respond to
little
what you said,
ill-mannered
Data.
rude twat.
Go ahead.
Right.
Please.
The designers of GPS specifically allowed this. The fact that you are denying this means that it's not
Denying what? What am I denying?
You are denying that that they're using time dilation, you moron. How many more times
Again,
do I have to tell you?
it's
You are
it's
denying
negligible
what
the air.
designers of GPS
Number one,
did.
it's negligible the air, Rumpus. Number two,
Of GPS
how do
did.
they
You are
calculate
denying what the designers of GPS did to get accurate results.
How do they calculate refraction with a curved line? Can you show me the math on that? Or do they calculate?
You seem to think you can't.
Or do they calculate? Or do they calculate time dilation using Euclidean?
You don't seem
what do
to
they use?
understand. Oh,
do they use spherical geometry or do they use Euclidean?
Why do you keep on asking me a question and answering your own
calculating Einstein, do they use Euclidean as well?
All right, you asked him some questions. Let him answer the
Jesus
questions.
Christ! What an obnoxious wanker, Brandon! You've got to stop this guy from behaving like this.
Address the questions, though.
Right, so you seem to think for some reason that curves and things and refraction can't be accommodated for in normal geometry. Yes, we can. We count for it, and that's how we count for refraction, terrestrial refraction, astronomical refraction. We use conventional Euclidean
So you
geometry.
beg the question.
Oh,
you beg the question
God.
to do your
So
calculation.
we use it all the time.
I'm asking you. Show me time dilation. Show me.
Go and look at Euclid.
Show me.
Flat curves. For some reason, you're a
Show me
curve
time
denier now.
dilation.
You are a curve
and calculation
You moron.
using a
You are
curved line.
All right. Let's
curve denying moron.
Okay, you guys are. We know how you guys feel about each other. Grim actually did post. You still there, Grim?
Yes.
Grim actually did post a link. So I take it you were posting this in order to provide some evidence. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you...
Oh, okay. So, yeah, for sure. So what I've got in front of you there is Ron Hatch, and there's his, what is that? The GPS, his GPS bio, .gov bio, and he passed away. Rest in peace, Ron Hatch. But anyway, he's an expert in the use of GPS for precision farming as well as other high precision applications. He became a private consultant, blah, 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 blah. But if you get down to the meat of it all, he's augmenting he's the one who's augmenting these satellites to get this high precision because there's an obvious flaw in the way that they were doing it. And so all the way down to the centimeter, he was able to get it. And he wrote this book called Escape from Einstein, right? And he's published multiple papers in which he challenges current relativity theory. So it's interesting that he would be such a highly decorated GPS guy and be accredited for augmenting and making GPS more precision, giving more precision to the GPS and being on the, member of the National Space-Based PNT Advisory Board, all this type of shit. And he writes a book, Escape from Einstein, because he sees that it's not the right story that's being told. He had to augment this shit. So, I mean,
Einstein's been proved right time and time again.
No, but you're acting like GPS was with relativity. It was dialed in perfectly with just relativity alone.
Yeah,
and that's not true. And you're touting it as if it's true. And I just want you to know
it is true.
For your own information, I don't give a fuck if you like it or if you want to take it in or not. But just in case you're interested in correcting your own bullshit, here's
there's no
that.
correction needed.
Well, let me read the description of this book because this is an interesting point that Grim is making, which is, okay, this guy's a decorated guy and he's credited with this accomplishment. So what is he saying about Einstein? Let's see here. I'm looking for the description of this dang book. I just had it. I don't know why this description is so hard to find. It says a GPS scientist who currently holds over 30 patents, and then it describes his book. Give me 1 second here, guys. Sorry about this.
What book is this? We've got a link.
Here we go. Einstein's Escape from Einstein, Ron Hatch, 1992. Einstein's fame can to some extent be ascribed to the fact that he originated a theory which, though contrary to common sense, was in remarkable agreement with the experimental data. Ron Hatch claims there is increasingly precise data which contradicts the theory, but he does not stop there. He offers an alternative, an ether gauge theory, which offers an unparalleled common sense explanation of the experimental data. The new theory is distinguished by a return to time simultaneity, even though clocks can run at different rates, the replacement of the Lorentz transformations with gauge transformations, scaled Galilean transformations, a unification of the electromagnetic and gravitational forces, a clear explanation of the source of inertia, a clear and consistent explanation of the physics underlying the equivalence principle. In addition to the above, a comprehensive review of the experimental record shows that the new ether gauge theory agrees with experimental better than the special theory. This releases everyone from the necessity of accepting blah, 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 and then that's about it. So it sounds pretty interesting. And now, why would he be on this GPS.gov if this was some nonsense that he did? That'd be my question. I'm trying to square the two here. This GPS.gov, this is a U.S. government-run site, right?
Could you give me the link to this, please?
Yeah.
I love that sound.
It's in general. And here's the link to Ron Hatch's thing there. There you go.
Brendan, can I just come in there for a sec?
Yeah, go ahead, Astro.
Okay, so you're speaking about this time delay. Do you know what the time delay going through electronic circuitry is? Do you know what the time delay of electricity going through, say a 3-foot wire? It's 20 nanoseconds. That's the time delay. So all these time delays are inherent in the circuitry of the satellites. So you've got to correct for all the time delays. And I should think that all these time delays...
No, that's not what they mean by time delay.
Well...
That's not what they mean by
in the literature here, though, that I'm reading, they have to adjust for 20 to 30 nanoseconds in error. This is a fundamental basis of all these calculations of GPS. I'm reading it right now. They literally compensate for 20 to 30 nanosecond error. I'm reading it, so it's true what the guy says.
Yes, I suggest that it is the circuitry that is causing the major error. There may be minor errors due to other effects, but it's the circuitry. It all has to be corrected.
They calculate for the circuitry already. They know that. That's a good thought,
so that means there is a delay, which they're accommodating.
But it's exactly.
Yeah, but it's not a delay based on distance or the signal reception. It's based on the process of the information, not the time between it.
So looks like we got something new to look into here, Rumpus. I'd be interested in your feedback after you looked into this.
Yeah, he does. Okay, yeah, he's clearly a bright chap, and he's done a lot of very useful work, it sounds, and he's clearly not the average idiot you'd have to deal with.
Hey, you claim that Einstein's been correct. Can you please show me where Einstein's correct when it comes to information in his equation?
Information. Where does he talk about information?
Where does information come from in his equations?
Where does he talk about it?
Quantum physics talks about information, but why doesn't Einstein?
Yeah, but he doesn't. He doesn't talk about. He didn't. His
so his formula is wrong, right? His formula is wrong
about
because
what? What do you say? What he said?
Every packet of light has information in it too, right, Rumpus?
Well, it's got its frequency and its momentum.
Yeah. So where's that calculating in his formulations? The information, the actual code inside the frequency. Where's it at?
Code. There's no code. There's just has a photon has frequency and energy.
Again, where's the information come from? And where's this information come from?
There is nothing else.
The universe is full of the universe is full of information.
That's not information.
Every packet of light has information. Every packet of light has information in it.
That's not information.
Every packet of light has information
Incorrect.
in it. Yep. It's not incorrect at all.
Incorrect.
It's energy In fact, I think
Einstein doesn't equate for information in any of his equations. That's why
You-
he fails. That's
Oh,
why
please,
quantum
show me.
physics. That's why quantum
Show me.
mechanics,
Show me.
quantum physics has a
Incorrect.
better explanation.
the only
Incorrect.
information in a photon is its energy and its frequency, or via the wavelength. That's all. That's the only thing a photon has.
And what about the information
So if you
inside
want
that
to talk about
photon?
that's
There's
the
no
only
information in the photon.
That's the
Says
only
who?
properties of a photon.
They say that there's information in every packet of light.
What
Well,
does it say?
Yeah, it's
There's
got
information in every
What does it say?
packet of light.
what-
There's
I
So
think
what's the
what you're-
information?
I
What is
think
the
what you
information?
mean-
No,
I think what
Einstein
you
doesn't.
mean by information-
Einstein
What is
doesn't
the
equate-
information?
It could be
You say there's
anything. It could be-
information in
it-
every
it could be
photon. What is the
anything.
information?
It could be anything that you. It could
What
be
is the
anything.
damn
you-
information?
It could be anything inside that packet of
No,
light.
no, wrong.
Yep.
All you have is a frequency and a speed. That's it.
So
You
what
have
about the
energy.
information inside? What about the information?
There's no
in it?
information. There is no information.
It carries zeros and ones. Why not?
It doesn't carry zeros and ones in one photon.
How do you
A photon does not carry 0 and 1.
How do you decipher a signal if it has no information in it?
Data. Try listening.
Each photon.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry, Rompus. Go.
Sorry, Buffy, I
You guys
interrupted
shouldn't
you.
have done this.
Right,
This
so
is
here
what
we go.
people
Each
settle
individual
in,
photon
that
has no
is
information
not,
by itself, but what you can do is send different photons at different frequency. You could say, I'll send a photon now, and if I send a photon in 5 seconds' time, that means a 1 or something, or I can send it in 10 seconds' time, which means it's a 0 or something like that. You can encode information using photons, but that's something...
That's right. Where's
that's
the
a
formula
meta
for it?
property. That's
He's
something
missing
you're-
all the information
Oh
of the
my
world
God,
in the photo
shut
and
up for
in
once,
light.
you little
No, you
moron.
just said that light has information. Now you're saying no, you're saying two different
You are
things.
You are manipulating the photons.
There's
like what
no
you-
Einstein
be
formula
quiet,
for
you twat.
information
Be
in the
quiet,
packets
There's
of
no
light.
information in a
That's
photon.
why his formula fails.
Be quiet.
There's
you
no
twat.
information in a photon.
Exactly.
All kinds of
What
information
you
in
can do,
for it.
twat,
In
is
fact,
All
the
right, guys,
information.
you
The
guys are just
information.
going back and forth now. I do have a question
information-
from the audience.
interrupted.
A question from
Brandon,
the
you can't
audience.
stop
Information in a
this guy
photon.
behaving
I
like this.
understand.
Disruptive.
I understand. I
I'm gonna start
understand.
planting
I got a
I'm not going to
question.
finish a sentence.
I got a question from
Can
the
I-
audience for you,
can I-
Rumpus.
Okay, can I just finish my sentence on this information?
Finish,
Mark?
finish your sentence.
Right, you could substitute photons with ball bearings, sticks, or anything. It's how you arrange the sticks. You can arrange the photons. That's the information, the arrangement, not the photons themselves. The photons. So that's what information is. Each individual photon there's no difference between any other photon of the same frequency and any other photon of the same frequency. So there's nothing inherent in them besides their frequency. So you can't vary that. The only thing you can do is vary how many you send at any one time. Or, for instance, you might be able to infer information about a star by which photons you're receiving. So that's what you might mean by information. I can detect a lot of information about a star from the photons it emits. But each photon it's only because I know it's coming from a star I can infer something. But each individual photon just has one piece of information. Well, you could argue if it's got velocity, it's just one. And the other one is its energy. And then from that, you can infer its frequency. So it's only got really one piece of information. That's all a photon can do. Finished.
All right.
Energy is information.
So
That's what
far,
he's
we
trying
can't
to
really
say.
argue with that. Go ahead.
You got an argument,
But that
Grump?
was 18 sentences. No, he said one sentence. I was just counting. It was 18.
18. All right. Well,
You fucking
I've got
liar.
another question for Rumpus just to kind of close this out, this time dilation issue out, because some in the audience may not be too familiar with the concept. Rumpus, could you describe in your world what time dilation means?
Right, there are two sorts of time dilation. One induced by gravitational, the general theory of relativity talks about time dilation or the effect, and the other one is special relativity, which is due to velocity. So there are two things that causes time dilation, whether you go your speed and whether you're close or not to a massive body. So for instance, if you're at the bottom of the Eiffel Tower and you go to the top of the Eiffel Tower, speed runs slightly differently, and that's what GPS has to allow for. GPS also has to allow for the fact that it's orbiting the Earth at 17,000 miles an hour or more, and so you have to allow for that. So there are two effects, both described by Einstein: gravitational time dilation, special theory, general theory of relativity, and velocity-based time dilation, which is caused by, which is described by the special theory of relativity. So there are two things that cause time to change. And
what do you mean by time to change?
More slow. Well, if you go more quickly, so for instance, if I were to go at the speed of light, time would stop completely, and that's what happens to photons. Photons do not experience time because they are going at the speed of light. So, and it gets more and more, the effect becomes greater and greater, according to special theory of relativity, the time dilation, time goes more slowly. So, for instance, if I was to have a clock and I took it to the and I took it on. I would travel very quickly. I would see the clock going at its normal speed, but in fact, it would be going much more slowly. So if I then brought the clock back, so if I went off at near the speed of light on a trip, and I then came back, my clock would, and this is called the twin paradox. Actually, is probably the better example of describing this. If I have a twin, identical twin, and I went off at the speed of light and then came back again, I would have aged not very much at all, and my twin would have aged as much as a normal twin. Oh my God, would have aged by whatever how much time I've been away, and I would experience almost no time. So there's a massive difference there between our experiences of time. Similarly, if you go near a black hole, because of the intense gravity there, I said about the Eiffel Tower, the top and bottom, the time goes more slowly the closer you are to a massive body. So at the top of the Eiffel Tower, time runs that slightly more quickly. If you go near a black hole, you get very close to it, then in fact time goes incredibly slowly, just like going at the speed of light. And in
What
fact,
was Rumpus?
I've got 5 more seconds.
What was
nearly
Einstein's
there,
hypothesis?
very nearly there. If you things falling into a black hole, they think actually sort of stop in time because the gravitational field becomes so intense. They effectively stop. Oh my God! Can I just nearly there? 2.5 seconds left. They almost stop in time. Finished.
Did you read that in a Dune book, or was that what trilogy was that in?
This is established scientific fact.
Oh, okay.
It's 30 years out of date. You should follow the latest science. It's 30 years out of date.
This is the latest science. It's the
Go look it up.
Quantum
physics
stuff. Disproves Einstein's theory, dude.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Does anybody want to make a reply to what Rumpus just said, his description, that kind of a counter argument before we go into final thoughts?
Rumpus, even though you're going on about Einstein's theory of relativity, what was his hypothesis?
His hypothesis was that time, amongst what many of his hypotheses, was that time changes due to velocity and due to gravity. And these things have been tested experimentally and proved to be true.
Let's pick one test and a hypothesis and run me through it, please.
Okay, his hypothesis. Okay.
What? Hold on, just to clarify, the hypothesis.
Okay, keep asking me a question and interrupting the answer.
I want to clarify the premise here. So he's observing something with his eyeballs. Is he using a telescope, or is he just observing it with his eyeballs?
No, he made predictions from his equations. He made predictions about what would happen.
So he has to observe.
Oh my God! Why are you such an obnoxious wanker?
Well, we want to clarify for the audience, right?
Goddamn
so
sentence.
he has to observe something.
Finish my goddamn sentence, you obnoxious little tosser.
So he didn't observe anything.
Be quiet, you little twat. So
did he observe something?
Be quiet, you little twat. So
did he observe something?
Be quiet, you little twat. So
he didn't observe something.
Be quiet, twat.
It's a very easy question.
He predicted, you to twat, that
he
the
predicted.
light would be bent
How
by
did he
the
predict
sun.
it?
He predicted, you twat, you obnoxious little ill-mannered twat. God, if you behave like this in real life, you'd get a punch in the face, wouldn't you?
Dude, you can't even do it. You can't even do it.
Wanker. Try behaving like a decent human being for
You
5
can't.
seconds. The earth is not very flat.
Take your own advice.
Be quiet, you twat. Be quiet, you obnoxious little
All right, guys,
twat.
we're devolving. Let's go into final thoughts. You can use your final thought to say it, Rumpus. So go ahead, final thought.
You've got to stop this guy from behaving like this, Brandon.
Go ahead, Rumpus.
Okay, so he made a prediction in the general theory of relativity. He made a prediction about the bending of light. So he made a prediction. He didn't have a phenomenon. He just, from his calculation, said, this is what will happen. Then in 1919, Eddington, when there was an eclipse, he measured the bending of light that matched exactly what Einstein predicted. And it was actually anti-Newtonian.
So it was a prediction.
Be quiet, you twat. Be quiet, you rude little twat. So Newton, following the Newtonian laws, it would bend in one way. But Einstein modified those and said, no, we're going to get twice as much bending as the Newtonian prediction. And that's exactly what happened. So that he was verified in his prediction. That's why he didn't get a Nobel Prize immediately.
So,
because he made
just to clarify,
hold on, you're going to have final thoughts next.
He made these predictions.
You shut the fuck up for just a minute, dude. You talk too much.
Large amount of time
Einstein's
before they
theory
were
actually
shown to be
predicted
true.
that the light would bend several solar radii away from the sun. That did not happen.
Hold on, Grim.
You did not see light bending.
I'll let you go right after. I'll let you go right after Rumpus. Go ahead, wrap it up, and then we'll go to
so
Grim.
the point was, Einstein, from his equations, made a prediction, and it took quite some time before they were validated, and then after that, he was given a Nobel Prize actually for the photoelectric effect. But they didn't accept his predictions initially because there was no experimental evidence to support him. But there was eventually. Finished.
Grim?
Yeah. Okay. So Einstein was proven
so
wrong.
let me finish real quick. Excuse me.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So what happened was Einstein actually predicted that you'd see this light bending several solar radii away from the sun, not only in the plasma limb of the sun, which would account for why you see the refraction in the first place.
He was
You're looking
proved
through an
correct.
atmosphere of the sun.
Wrong.
It's not
This is
proved
final
correct. You're
thoughts, guys.
assuming
This
that
is final
they
thoughts.
assumed the corona of the sun to be so negligible an atmospheric refraction that they assumed you to be correct by decree. But then they found out that you were wrong. You know that there's a lot more matter there now than you initially thought there was.
All right. Thank you, Grim. Appreciate
It's
that.
a fucking refraction effect. Yeah.
We'll come back to this. We can continue this argument after we get through these final thoughts. Data, go ahead.
So Einstein was proven wrong in 1929. He was created a constant static formulation that was eventually proved wrong by the Hubble theory of the what do you call it? The red. What's the name of it? There when they
redshift.
Blue
expansion.
redshift. Yeah, exactly. Redshift. So he was actually proven wrong with that constant formula, and he fought tooth and nail, and eventually changed his stance on it. So Einstein has been proven wrong, and Einstein had to correct himself. Just on that one little note, he created a constant for the static universe, and it was proven wrong based on observation. So when I asked Rumpus what hypothesis he made a prediction. So he never had a hypothesis. He made a prediction based on a formulation and a supposition of why refraction was happening. There's no way to test why that refraction happened, other than in our world, we put light through water, you'll get refraction. So that's the only observation I can see. I haven't seen any gravity bend light. I haven't personally been able to bend light with gravity. So if you have any of this personal experience where you can show me bending light there, Rumpus, that would be great.
Sounds good. Thank you, Data. Ellie B. Astro King.
Hello, yes. I would say that he needs to update his information. He's well out of date.
And there for a sec, but I realised that you didn't let me know you're on daylight savings time now. So thanks for the confusion, but good show, mate. Good show next time.
Oh, sorry. Oh, shit. Let me write in my calendar. Here we go. Give personal update to Bandsaw on time change. Okay. We're good.
Hey, appreciate it.
Yep. Chrissy.
Great show, really interesting. Yeah, I've learned a lot tonight.
Thanks, Chrissy. Elijah? No? Ed?
Yo, what's up? I have a question for Bev that I've been asking for
Final thoughts.
the last couple of days, and it is, what is the difference between evidence and proof? And he can't answer because he doesn't know. And also, Earth is not flat. Thank you.
Thank you. Global virus foe. Travis.
Yes, there is an alternative explanation for the alleged observation that ships are disappearing over the alleged curvature of the Earth, or islands are hidden, or platforms are hidden, or lighthouses are hidden, or anything else beyond the horizon is hidden by the curvature of the Earth. The alternative explanation only, ever, and always will be 100% each and every time due to the conditions of the medium creating a refraction phenomenon, affectionately known as the Ether Man. Everybody drink.
Thank you, Travis. That was like the anti-rumpus there. Left lane.
Hey guys, always an interesting conversation. Personally, my rudimentary understanding and limited educational base on the subject, I can't argue for or against the particularities of time dilation and all those things. So I tend not to have much comment on it, but I like listening to the argument. Thanks.
Thanks, Howard. Mailman. Mark. Matrix.
Good show, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Matrix. Aaron. Paige with the new avatar. Hey, Paige.
Hey, Brendan, are you finishing up early today?
No, it's
only 11 o'clock.
My clock says 8. Am I?
Time violation page. It's daylight savings.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, daylight savings.
Have you guys heard
Oh,
the
have you
Earth
guys
is spinning up?
already?
We just did it yesterday.
Okay. So I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks until we do it too. Okay, no worries. All right. Well, sorry for missing the show then, or missing most of it.
Oh, I didn't realize it. We were all on separate times. But
No, neither did I.
Okay.
Dawn on me.
Oh, thanks, Paige.
Yeah, the UK doesn't change till the 28th of March.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, ours is like the 4th of April or something that we change.
So
Oh yeah, this shit shouldn't change. I think it's just ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Does
Oh,
anybody
it's so
agree?
silly. Yeah, so silly.
Causes confusion.
We know when to farm now. We don't need all that, right? It's
I agree.
weird.
SE.
Yes, sir, Brandon. Good show. As usual. Time dilation. Wow. That's got to be the biggest tale ever told. I'm trying not to laugh here. We're supposed to believe that one brother traveling faster ages slower than the other brother on Earth. Right. That's the speed part. And then there's the part of gravitational time dilation. What a bunch of poppycock. It's unproven. It's just a story. Just a story, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure
Using
everybody here knows
GPS.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you, Brandon, and peace out, everybody.
Thank you, SE. Sin Cleanser.
Yeah, that was it was fun show, good show. Rumpus is a very funny guy, I think. So it's always good to hear you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Sin Cleanser. Bob. And Tom Walburn.
It took me a minute. It took me a minute to get here because I was higher up. I had to come back down.
Understandable.
show.
Happens to me all the time.
Great show.
Thanks, Tom. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to all the panel members for joining. Excellent discussion. Very much fun. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, 5:05 Eastern Standard Time. Check your local time zones. I've never said that before. That's check your local time zones. Now I feel like the guy on TV. But thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks to the audience. Thanks to the mods. And we'll see you all tomorrow night, 5:05. And I don't even know what time that is in the UK or anywhere else right now. But Eastern Standard Time, it's 5:05. All right. I'll be back and I'll record the after show. Bye, guys. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow. Mark, I think you asked if I still upload the after shows. I have not been. I've got a bunch of them sitting in my folder. I could probably upload them for the next 3 freaking months if I wanted to. I'm kind of afraid of what's in there now. It's been so long. I don't know why I don't it takes time. Just another thing to do. But I'll try to do that when they're good. And I'll get them up on the channel, either this one or my channel, whichever one. So yeah, if you're not subscribed to my other channel, Brandon Toy, subscribe to it just in case anything ever happens to this channel. We'll at least have over there to go. And if this one disappears one day, go look for us over on the Brandon Toy channel. We'll still be in the same Discord as long as that doesn't get blown up. So should be easy to find us somewhere. But anyway, thanks everybody. I really appreciate it. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.